And welcome to the EFL, or the EPL I should say, playoffs for this year. 16 players will be battling it out to become official Liverpool footballers in this remote world that we're all used to now. We would have course, have been at Anfield. The lights are on and those are live pitches that you see tonight. But instead, our players will be playing at home. And Rachel Stringer is alongside me as always. Great to see you, Rach. There is a lot at stake for these players tonight. Many of them Liverpool fans who want to achieve probably the secondary dream of being official Liverpool players one day.
Yeah, I mean, this is all about FIFA right now today, isn't it? And these guys want to qualify on either the Xbox or the PlayStation to play, like you said, for Liverpool on the virtual pitch. They can't make it as a real footballer, I'm going to say. They can maybe make it as a FIFA player, with the main aim of getting to something that we should call the ePremier League finals, which will take place in a few months' time. And that, let me tell you, they get a chance to win £20,000 if they make it there. But first, Pete, they're here today. 16 of them, like you said, have to be whittled down to 2. One on the Xbox, one on the PlayStation, to represent Liverpool at a chance of winning some pretty big money in a couple of months' time.
Because it's made household names in the past. We've been doing this now officially for 2 years. I can remember being sat in a car park seeing a really well-known player who'd gone out to somebody who just turned up for a chance to play that night, and he was in tears. I mean, this is a career for many people. It's a complete life for them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I can kind of remind you a little bit about what happened last year in the ePremier League finals. Obviously, they got postponed due to the current pandemic that the whole world is facing right now. But it went down to the wire with Watford and Bournemouth being the two teams that were playing in the end. It was someone called Mark Marley for Bournemouth and Tom Lees for Watford. And they battled it out, again, from the comfort of their own homes. And one of them took home £20,000, and it really kind of boosted his FIFA career. It gave him the confidence to go on in the game. He's since gone on to kind of win other tournaments. He's gone on to finals on the global stage, which is a global FIFA stage, which is a massive deal in the FIFA community. So winning this tournament, getting that confidence that comes from winning a tournament and a lot of money has really kind of boosted him in the FIFA community, that's for sure.
We're going to see Tekkz tonight, which a lot of you will be shouting at your screens at the moment. Is he there? How's he getting on? We'll find out how he's getting on at the moment. But there has already been a shock tonight as well, hasn't there? So there will be one new champion different to last year.
Yeah, so you mentioned Tekkz. I'll quickly kind of give you a little overview of who Tekkz is. Tekkz is called Donovan Hunt. He plays on the Xbox side of things. He's one of the best players on the Xbox in the entire world, okay? He's won 5 tournaments on the FIFA Global Series, which is a massive deal in the community. He's kind of been there, done everything, and he's a super young player still. He's now signed for a team called Fnatic, a really big team in the esports community. And on the other side, the representative from the PS4 side of things is a guy called Ollie Hall. Last year, he played his first ever tournament, so no one knew about him. He went and demolished everyone in his path, got there, represented his club. We can see him today, hopefully, see how he's get on. Can he kind of hold on to the Liverpool contract, which he won last year, and get it renewed? We're going to find out shortly. But should we have a quick look at the format?
Yeah, explain the
today?
format, explain the rules for us. How do you get through then to the ultimate, to the semi-final and then the final tonight?
Well, if you guys are sitting at home going, I could have done this because lockdown, you've been playing lots of FIFA. Well, you should have done, because over 1,600 players tried to qualify online to get here. That's so many. Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned it whittled down to 16 in the end, and only 2 can represent Liverpool. So we started the day a bit earlier. We started on what we're going to say the quarter-final stages. So we had a Group A and Group B on the PS4, and then the same on the Xbox. And that was a chance for double elimination. So it was a bit easier, so they could lose a game and then drop down to something which we call the losers bracket and still have a chance of qualifying for the semi-finals, which you're going to see a bit later, and the same on the Xbox. But now, where you're joining us, we're starting at the semi-final stage of the competition, and it's crunch time. It's single elimination, so you lose one game, you're out of here. You're going home. You're going to play no further part in the competition. So, Pete, this is what I was mentioning. This is what we've seen going on earlier offline. You guys haven't actually been able to watch this. So this is Group A on the PS4 side of things. Pete, what I'm looking there is standout. Ollie Hall, I just mentioned him. He was our current Liverpool representative. He's gone home. Yeah. He's gone out. He lost 6-4 there to Red 8 Lab. And then he went down to that losers bracket. So he had a chance to redeem himself and lost 5-0 to David Murray. So that's kind of how he, kind of a big star. He didn't even have to qualify to get here. He was allowed, obviously because he already represented Liverpool, just to come here. So he goes home. Red 8 Lab and David Murray are two of our players qualified. I think you know a little bit about them, Pete. Have you got a
Red Lab's actually a Liverpool fan, so we'll be looking out for these tonight, won't they? Because lots of players will attach themselves to a club because they feel as though they've got the best chance of going on and forging a career out of it. But his favourite moment was that Barcelona game at Anfield, so I think he was there. So you can see what's at stake for someone like him. This could be life-changing as a Liverpool supporter, Rach, couldn't it?
Absolutely. And David Murray as well. You know, he kind of said his favourite player is #Tom, and that's the player that I mentioned won for Watford. So he's the current ePremier League champion. So he's been watching people like this. First time for him, though, to be in the EPL. But now we've moved on to Group B of PS4. And you can see at the end there, we've got Crew Yago and Sting Racing. They're actually big names, aren't they, Pete, in the FIFA community? They've, you know, names that people who watch the scene might know.
I think he's just missed out on representing England as well, hasn't he? So he's somebody that will, on this stage tonight, want to impress, and as we've seen there, he's right amongst the goals, isn't he? He'll be one to look out for.
Yeah, that's Sting Racing, of course. So he actually got to the qualifiers of the E-Lions broadcast. So that was a chance to become an England player. Like you said, he lost out in the 90th minute. So heartbreak for him. So he'll definitely want to go one step further tonight and try and become a Liverpool player on the PS4. But we're going to go now, I think, Pete, to the Championship bracket and see actually who's going to be playing who in these big ones, in the semi-finals. Pete, there it is.
So we're going to see 6 games of FIFA tonight, and this will be one that we see very soon, in fact, won't it? Red 8 Lab against Sting Racing. I know you're really looking forward to this one, Rach, because these are two names that are quite new to a lot of people that will be watching this tonight, and they think they've got a chance. Yeah,
but they're big names as well. If you do watch the FIFA kind of scene and you kind of follow that a bit, like I mentioned, Sting Racing really close to being an England player on the FIFA scene, and then Red 8 Lab as well. He's been someone that's been dabbling in the FIFA scene for a while. He said he's kind of playing for fun though here, but he's trying to get to a high level as possible, aren't they all? Plays quite attacking style because he's been watching a couple of the other players on the scene and they're also doing the same. But he is doing something, Pete, which a lot of FIFA players have been trying out this season, putting 5 at the back. Bit interesting style of play there from him.
That's a new
so we'll see how that works for him. But that's it from the PS4 side of things. So excited to see who goes on to represent Liverpool, because it's not going to be Ollie Hall.
Yeah, this is the big thing, isn't it? We will have a new pretender to that throne tonight, so there's so much at stake where that is concerned. Let's move on to the Xbox, because that's where we know Tekkz from, and kind of where he left off from last season, although at this stage he still hadn't conceded a goal, whereas that has changed a little bit tonight, as we can see from his first scoreline there and his second one. He's already conceded 4 more goals than he had done at this stage last year.
I mean, you just said it there. I had a quick look back on our stream from last year, and he scored 31 goals last year and conceded 0 throughout the entire tournament. So that was phenomenal for him. We know he's a great name on the scene, but they're winning 9-2, and then Morto LFC must be a Liverpool fan there.
Yeah, I think he's picked out the Barca game as well as being his favourite.
There you go. So big Liverpool fan. So it's Tekkz and Morto LFC. They are the 2 players that are going through from Group A.
Just very quickly on that, Rach, would that indicate that this might be a closer competition this year, the fact that he is conceding goals already?
Well, if you've come in watching the FIFA scene, he kind of said he's had a few personal problems, so he's taken a bit of a step back, but he said this is the one that he's always kind of earmarking on his calendar because he's such a massive fan of Liverpool FC. So don't ever count him out there, Pete.
And this is Group B as well. Again, we're looking out for Liverpool fans, certainly on this channel where that is concerned. Horney 118's name will strike a chord with lots of people watching this, not least because he's a Liverpool fan. He goes back a little bit further than a lot of the guys that we've been talking about so far. He picks out Istanbul as his favourite moment. Steve McManaman, his favourite all-time Liverpool player as well.
Yeah, and then he's going obviously through with Gavin Wong, and Gavin Wong says Istanbul as well. But then he goes and saying Thierry Henry is his favourite player. So
bit confused.
Bit of a mixture going on there. We're not entirely sure, but he said he's been playing FIFA since FIFA 13, so he's been playing it for a little while, so got a bit of experience under his belt. But
it's just how they
look at Tekkz.
It's just how they adapt to this now, though, because as soon as Tekkz names comes out on a draw against you, it's almost the biggest moment you've had in your career so far as well. For that Liverpool title, for a Liverpool fan, it just gets more and more bigger, doesn't it, with each set of names you look at now.
And we asked the question as well beforehand to all these players saying, who do they look up to in the FIFA scene, in the FIFA community, and a lot of them, rightly so, say Tekkz, which is that a good thing or a bad thing? I always say because they can watch a lot of these players kind of Twitch streams or YouTube content, and they almost tell them how to be a player like them. So I'm like, could one day we see someone just overhaul them because they've watched so much content? And they have the time now, don't they? In lockdown, if I wanted to be a FIFA player, I'd be watching Tekkz every hour that I could, just to try and get as much information on the players as possible.
And that was one thing we noticed from last year. A lot of the players were bringing coaches with them. A lot of them were using sports psychologists. Like you said before, they had family there. I just wonder how that pressure might be slightly different tonight when they're sat at home instead.
Well, I think it's going to be less, surely, because like we said, last year, Anfield, we're like under the lights quite literally, weren't we? We had cameras in their faces, lights, literally lights, camera, action. They had guests they brought, they had pressure on them. So right now, they're surely playing where they always practice. You know, maybe they're sitting there with just their socks and sliders. What do these young footballers wear these days, Pete? You hang out with them more than I do. But they're pretty relaxed, aren't they? So maybe we'll get to see an underdog here, you know, come through because he's so relaxed and has been having a lot of time to practice during lockdown.
There's a danger of over-practicing, they tell me, as well. The kids on the block almost. And lots of them were saying it last year. You might envisage that they would be sat in their bedrooms till 2, 3 in the morning. That's not the way the professionals do it, though, is it?
No, well, I mean, I'm not a pro here, Pete. You've spoken to more of them recently than I seem to have done, but we'll have to see. I mean, it'd be great to see an upset, but equally, it's great to see someone like Tekkz, who's so passionate about this club, and the likes of Jurgen Klopp, Virgil van Dijk, they know who he is. That's how big a name he is on this scene. That these guys know who Tekkz is, and I think he's played Trent Alexander-Arnold before. That's one of the perks, I think, of being crowned a Liverpool player. You get to go and play some of the Liverpool players. The real ones, not the virtual ones, and actually try and challenge them because everyone loves the game of FIFA.
Yeah, it was quite nice seeing them last year actually because Tekkz is very cool, isn't he? But as soon as the Liverpool players turned up, he was quite into that. But let's see how he adapts to all of this pressure tonight. We're going to see a live game now. Chris Tunn and Harry Channon are our commentators as ever for tonight, and there we can see them in our virtual changing room, and they are ready to talk you through the action. Red 8 Lab against Stingration, I think, guys, is the first game you have for us tonight.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Very excited to get into this one, of course. And you know what? It's just nice to be in the studio, Harry, to be honest with you. I'm used to just sitting at home. Not that I can't quite touch you. Of course, we've got the visor in between us, but very, very excited to once again be here, of course, for the LFC ePremier League qualification games. And as I said, it has really all been talk about one man and one man only. That is Tekkz. Of course, we're not going to see Ollie Hall this year, but Tekkz ever much a recent name in the Liverpool history, especially when it comes to FIFA. And we're expecting them to go on once again and be qualified as that Xbox champion.
Yeah, I mean, 3 times back-to-back it would be if he can complete it again this evening. But the first thing we need to speak about, obviously, is the fact that we're going to be seeing PS4 gameplay first, PS4. So there's no talk of Tekkz for the first few games at least. We're sticking with PS4 for now. We'll see Tekkz a little bit later on, don't worry. I know everyone's here to see him and see how well he plays. But I think the fact that there is a guaranteed new PS4 champion this time around makes things so much more intriguing for the competitors because they know, hey, I can make a name for myself here. I know the guy that won it last year, he got dumped out in groups, so I have a real chance of stealing that crown this time around.
Well, that's the beauty of it, as we are about to head into the game between Red Lab and Stingration, of course. Everybody could have qualified. You just go through, you play these games to get to this point, and then you get yourself into these finals. But into the very first game, and it should be an interesting one. Stingration, of course, going up against Red Lab, and both players obviously in the Liverpool kits. But interested to see what kind of teams they're going to be using. Of course, this new What If Rafinha card now coming out as well is an interesting one to say so, and it may be an opportunity from left to right. Something to be happening here, but not quite going to work out. And it's always interesting to keep an eye on the teams here, Harry.
Yeah, of course, you've got to keep an eye out on the icons as well. A limited selection of icons allowed this year, I do believe. So we obviously have the likes of Pele, the likes of Hullet that will no doubt be prevalent in both teams.
Cancelo across the box. It's going to be Pele with the first shot, and Pope will eventually get the save through it. This is something we were talking about as well when it comes to keepers, of course, in the Premier League. Pope is very much a mainstay as a meta player. Of course, when it comes down to that goalkeeper movement, he's really one of the ones that you want to keep an eye on. Not necessarily so fantastic on his own, but one of these players who, with that keeper movement, which we will see continuously from these two players and every other single player here this evening. Interested to see Saint-Maximin, though. It's the only Newcastle representation I'm likely to see here today, Harry.
I think you might be right about that one, Chris.
And Son from the edge of the box, not going to work out that time around. Centre-back Kyle Walker, though, very much a mainstay as well. With Pele now to Fernandez, and it's going to be Rashford out to Saint-Maximin, looking for a little bit of jinky movement inside the box, not going to happen. But once again, Fernandez out to Cancelo, 5 at the back being adopted by both teams, no surprises to see that. It's good movement so far by Red Lab, not going to work out, and so Stingray will get this one away.
Right, Stingray, who's building actually here.
Pele now inside the box, directional movement there, not going to work out for him, and Walker will get this one away. Very well played there by Stingray. Couldn't quite get anything going, but now Red Lab, potential opportunity to counter-attack. Seeing Mahrez in the middle, maybe a bit of a strange choice there, but Rashford now down the right-hand side from Stingray. Son looking for the ball through. We know how powerful those through balls have been so far, Harry, throughout the FIFA 21 life cycle. Not able to get anything going there, though.
Well, it's interesting to see how Rashford's being deployed on both sides. I mean, I know we saw on one of the team sheets him being used as a right wing back in that 5 at the back. Obviously, 5 at the back so strong in this iteration. It's no surprise to see both these players trying to use that formation to great effect here.
Tekkz at left back is a curious one. I'm surprised we aren't seeing somebody different there, but maybe chemistry reasons. Well, it shouldn't necessarily be a problem. We've seen plenty of it's all Premier League or icons, so realistically chemistry shouldn't be an issue. But Curtis Jones, nice to see him in the middle, of course. Rashford now not able to get this one through here for Stingray. All of a sudden there's a chance for Red Lab to counter-attack here. Rafinha with the pace and the pass through. Really good ball to Mahrez, and it's off the post. Looked like a suspicion of offside, but reaction from Red Lab in the top right corner tells it all. That was a really good opportunity, Harry.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the opening 20 or so in-game minutes has been mostly this man coming forward, and he has another chance now.
Stingray with Saint-Maximin to Bruno Fernandes to Son to Pele. Oh! First time not working out for him. And as again, you can see in the bottom right corner, what's Pele doing there? You'd expect him to be burying that one, Harry.
Yeah, no conviction in the finish there whatsoever, was there? Opening 20 minutes, you'd have to say, it's gone mostly Stingrayson's way, and it's been Red Lab who's been had to feed off some scraps in the midfield. That's a good tackle coming in, though, but unfortunately for him, it's not quite good enough as the ball stays in.
Rashford now. Into Pele, back to Rashford. Pele once again, and as you mentioned, Harry, it's been a lot of defending going to have to come in here from Red Lab, but mistakes going to give this one away. Pele now looking for a little bit of room. It's just about creating that little gap that you need. Son now out wide to Tierney. The 5 at the back, so strong going forward. Directional bridge from Pele. Is it going to bounce his way? Not quite. Isn't able to get it through. My goodness. It's going to be a good save from Pope, and it will bounce behind. Short corner now. Saint-Maximin now to the edge of the box towards Heung-min Son. Hard to get it past here, though, if you're Red Lab, and oh, that will be offside. Big opportunity, but the referee's got his flag up.
There were about 3 different players, I think, trying to dive to block the shot initially that forced the corner. But yeah, that's a good bit of sustained pressure once again from Stingrayson, who's in the away kit here. Has to do a bit of defending, though. Does well at first with Walker, but can't quite get the clearance of any kind of conviction. And now a real chance, I think, for Red Lab to maybe show his adversary that he has something to bring forward. But so far, it's been, aside from that one counter-attack, fairly straightforward in defence for Stingrayson. He's seemed comfortable so far.
Cancelo getting away down the right-hand side. Rashford looking for the ball through. Once again, just a lot of pressure coming in here from Stingrayson. Bruno Fernandes now to Heung-min Son. Pele still ahead. Rashford back to Son, looking for the pass through to Pele, but Tekkz was in the way. Pele now edge of the box to Saint-Maximin to Rashford. Surely this is a goal. First big chance, and there it is. Marcus Rashford will put it away for Stingray, and that's a 1-0 lead. Very much deserved there, though, Harry. Standard goal from Marcus Rashford once again.
Yeah, I think Red Lab will be really disappointed about the way he's conceded. I mean, he just dillied and dallied and gave the ball back to Stingrayson, and like you said, pretty standard goal from Rashford in that kind of situation. Really nice skill moves and good footwork to beat his man, obviously, but it was far too easy on the other side from Red Lab. He needs to tighten things up here going into half-time.
Can't quite get the ball away. Curtis Jones will play it out wide now to Rashford. Back to Jones, now back to Rashford as well, and Stingrayson looking to double his lead here. Now Saint-Maximin can't quite get it going in the middle. Now back to Curtis Jones. Son now on the edge of the box, can't quite get it through, but maybe dilly-dallying once again. You can see on the other side of things, though, in the semi-finals for the PlayStation side, Yago 1-0 up against David Murray as well. So tight games across the board here, Harry.
Yeah, and it should be approaching half-time in both of those games, of course, both kicked off at the same time.
Stingrayson with a really big opportunity, and Tekkz has to put it over his own bar to defend this one. It's relentless pressure from Stingrayson. It's a good ball in as well. Walker not able to direct that either side of Pope, and we will see a 1-0 lead for Stingrayson at half-time. But look at the stats, Harry. Very much convincing for the side of Stingrayson.
Yeah, and you can just see how well Stingrayson has played just from those stats alone. We can see obviously some tactical tweaks coming in now, but I mean it just told the story of the first half, didn't it? Other than that one counter attack we saw from Red Lab, it was mostly Stingrayson, who, as Rachel said before, has been in and around the conversation of, you know, almost pushing it to that international level, representing England. Boy, I bet he'd love to represent Liverpool here, and so far here in the first leg, he's looking pretty good for it.
Looking good so far for Stingrayson. Of course, everybody using their own teams here as well. So that's another added element, isn't it, really? Let's see, though. You can clearly see Red Lab's team not quite on the level of what we're seeing from Stingrayson.
No, not quite, but we all know how fickle FIFA can be. Anything can change across 2 legs, let alone just one. So another half to play. You steady the ship maybe in midfield and you have a chance.
Oh, but that's not a good opportunity going to be coming for Red Lab anytime shortly, because Pele is now put Stingrayson 2 to the good. Straight from kickoff. Red Lab will be annoyed about that, but nonetheless, it's a well-worked move, and all of a sudden Pele through on goal, and Pele, 95 in the box, and missing.
Well, he had a few scuffed chances in the first half, didn't he? That one was a bit more clinical. We're expecting to see out of the legend. But yeah, Red Lab just needs to show Stingrayson here that he has what it takes to bring this back. You need to threaten something into Stingrayson's half, because otherwise, I mean, he's just going to be growing in confidence. He could put this to bed before the second leg even comes into play here, Chris. This is how dominant this performance has been so far from Stingrayson.
Oh, Pele's in again to Saint-Maximin. There's 3. Pope can do very, very little about that, and this has been leaning one way all the way through. Looks like it's going to end that way as well. Free Saint-Maximin getting things done. 3-0 now. Hard to see a way back for Red Lab here, Harry.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult to see a way back. You're right. I mean, again, you just have to remember and concentrate. This is a 2-legged affair here. So, yes, you lose 3-0, 3-1 in the first leg. You're always within touching distance going into that second. But the important thing is, Chris, we haven't really seen any attacking output. This could be a real chance. But again, it just seems a little bit lethargic, doesn't it? Not as sharp as we've seen from the other side. He wins the ball in the final third, though.
That was done. Mahrez bursting through. Good opportunity here. Goes for the shot. And defender maybe just putting him off a little bit there. Mahrez has the ability, in-game especially, to get it done and to stick it in the back of the net from that distance, but not quite the clean-cut opportunities that we've seen Stingray shape and form. Pele now to Heung-min Son, and now an opportunity once again for Saint-Maximin to get running. Not going to be there this time though. Walker will get this one away, and ultimately Red Lab has a good opportunity here. 3-on-3 momentarily, looking for his win-backs to get going. Kaká looking for the ball through the middle though. Well marked by the defender, but Mahrez trying to get past that centre-back Kyle Walker card. I tell you, lad, every weekend league, pain, 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 and only pain.
It's easier said than done getting past that, man. There's no doubt to see him be a staple of the defence from Stingrayson, and it is one of those reasons as well that Red Lab has struggled to break him down.
Saint-Maximin in the box, not going to work out. Van Dijk will get this one away, but I think if you're Stingrayson, you're very much happy with a 3-0 lead. It could be more here though. Son to Pele, back to Rashford, and to Pele. It's well worked. Edge of the box, just waiting for the opportune moment. Son can't quite squeeze through, and we'll get it back to Virgil van Dijk, and this one will be played away. Red Lab does survive now. As you said, it's 2 legs. And if you could get a goal here from Gareth Bale's left foot, then maybe you're talking. Ball roll inside, goes for the finesse, can't quite find it. Second opportunity now to Tekkz on the edge. Step overs inside, not quite working out. Still the opportunity continues, not going to formulate into anything though. And Reece James will defend this one, corner to be whipped in. Mahrez now, back out to Tekkz and Rashford. Pull it back out to Rashford. Looking for the opportunity to be founded with the Englishman, but can't quite find anything. It just seems as if he is knocking on the door, but not quite knocking loud enough, Harry.
No, not quite, but it's encouraging signs. This is the most sustained pressure that we've seen from him. And as I say, that curse of the commentator, he loses the ball, but it's good to show your opponent, you know, going into that second leg, that you can form these chances.
Oh, Pele in, that's 4. The through balls in FIFA 21 very much find their way quite easily, and if it's going to find its way to 95 Pele, 9 times out of 10 ends up in the back of the net, 4-0.
Just looking at the reaction from Stingray, and he knew that was a goal that could potentially seal Red Lab's fate in this semi-final. Didn't have a goal from the other game though, Chris.
David Murray will get one back against Yago, so that one looking a little bit closer than this. I think if you're Red Lab, you know that the defence can only hold on so long. You definitely see there's a gulf in teams here as well. So you can go with that small caveat as well, but Stingray only has to, you know, he has to play with what he has, and he has to play up against what he's up against, and well, he's doing the job where he can. But is this going to be a goal back here for Red Lab? Well executed in the end. Headline as Mahrez will find his way through. 78 minutes gone in the first leg here, and that deficit was reduced to 3.
A great use of the ball roll there, wasn't it? It was textbook from Mahrez. Did I say Xbox before? Of course I mean PS4. But so far, most of what we've seen has been one-way traffic.
Surely offside for Pele, and it will be. Easy run through there though, and it's one, unfortunately, if you're Red Lab, you've got to be pushing forward. We're not going to be seeing any 5 at the backs right now from him, I would imagine, and that is what's going to lead to these opportunities continuing to develop. Mahrez now. All fine for Firmino, can't quite get anything going though, and Cancelo will clear this one away. Pele now out to Rashford. Yeah, for the run. Saint-Maximin back to Son, looking for the pass back to Saint-Maximin potentially, but Virgil van Dijk once again, as he so often is at Anfield, in the way of any of those chances. Bale on the break here though. Red Lab trying to get something going. Can't break through, and Reece James will clear this one away here for Stingray.
Yeah, you just feel like a 3-goal deficit will be really hard for Red Lab to overturn. If he gets another back though in the final in-game minutes left in this first leg, maybe, just maybe he has a chance.
Oh, the ball through. Walker will clear it. Stingray will survive that chance, but Red Lab definitely feels in the second half has developed a little bit more into this game, Harry.
Seems to have settled down, hasn't he? Still, again, that scoreline will be daunting, but of course, still the second leg to come. These through balls to Pele, though, are deadly.
Oh, he's just causing so many problems, Pele. Oh. Well, I'm not sure how that's ended up in the keeper's hands, to be honest with you, but we won't question it. Let's see if Red Lab can get one back with this time. Not quite going to have enough of that, though, and that will be a 4-1 lead for Stingray heading into the second leg. We will, of course, look at the other side of things whilst that does go on, but nonetheless there, Harry, a very, very convincing performance from Stingray, and looking like he is going to get himself into that final, of course, in the PlayStation side.
Yeah, he looked really really solid in that first leg. I would like to see more out of Red Lab out of that first game. I mean, going into the second, you have to turn things around. I mean, it's do or die at this point, as Rachel and Pete said in the studio before. It's single elimination at this point. You lose across 2 legs, you go home. You don't have a chance to represent Liverpool, so you have to throw everything at this game now.
You do. You have to throw everything at it. But on the other side of things, of course, as mentioned, we will be looking at the other game. And that actually was going to be one apiece at the end of the first leg. So interested to see who's going to come out on top of this one to then face off in the final, who we presume is going to be going up against Stingray. So, I mean, look, you know, we don't want to talk about it maybe too much, but the team difference is definitely a big, big thing. But these two players, they'll be very, very elite. I believe, you know, when you get to this stage, you'll know it yourself from playing weekend league. You can come up against somebody, and honestly, it scares me more when I see bad teams when I'm coming up against them like goal 2, goal 3, and that's the issue for me. I see these teams who are not necessarily as even as good as mine, and I sort of think to myself, okay, well, this guy must be a player to get to this point, and that's the thing. I mean, if you're a Red Lab in this scenario, you've gotten this far with this team, you've got to sort of congratulations to him in that sense, but Sting Racing very much 95 Pele, direction on bridges, etc., etc. It's something hard to deal with. That was a huge opportunity to make it 1-0 in the 12th minute. Very much for Red Lab, it was a case of holding on as best as he could.
Yeah, I think when you take the second leg into consideration, I think the two questions you have to ask yourself: how do I beat that Kyle Walker at the back, and how do I stop this Pele coming forward? Because like you said, the directional bridges, the skill moves, the jinking runs were just too much for Red Lab to handle in that first leg. And I honestly think if you maybe keep Pele down, you can prevent the likes of Rashford taking this type of shot with the drag backs and again the directional movement, then maybe you have a chance at clawing a couple of goals back. But you know, a 3-goal deficit, Chris, in any game, so tough to overturn, especially at this level.
And of course, when you haven't got Pele breathing down your neck, you've got Saint-Maximin there as well. What a wonderful ball that was through to Pele as well. He finishes it with the chipper. And that's against Pope as well, so let's be honest, he is a tall boy. Mahrez, though, will get one back there for Red Lab towards the end. But I mean, look, we've seen the highlights there, and we've seen the fact that, you know, he hit the post early on Red Lab as well, and he did have other opportunities, specifically in the second half of the first leg. So there's a really good opportunity for him maybe to come back into it, but it's sort of feeling a little bit unlikely at this stage. But as mentioned, I think he's done very, very well to get to this point with his team, and I'd just be interested to see what it would be if it was really on a level playing field in that sense. But at the same time, you know, we can't just give out players left, right, and centre. You have to use your own teams, unfortunately. And in this case, it's just, you know, Stingray very much has been the dominant player, but still, with the team he has at his disposal, I mean, look, on the other side of things, I think you look at Red Lab, he's got Kaká, and then we've got Prime Pele on the other side of things, if you are, of course, Stingray. So it's a difficult one to overcome, of course.
It is, and it's a bit of a contrast of this year's competition, isn't it? Because obviously all these players last year would travel to the grounds or the studio or wherever these tournaments were being held, and had those, you know, cards unlocked for them so they could, you know, choose all the best cards in the game. Not the case this year. Like you said, can't just go handing cards out willy-nilly, so they have to use their own teams here, and it is a bit of a contrast, a bit of a change from last year, but again, you know, you have to play to the rules of the competition, Chris.
Well, here we go into the other side of the bracket. Close game between these two once again. Jones now in the middle, trying to get something going. Best on the right wing as well. Interested to see what version that is. It's a one that's eluded me for quite some time. It doesn't matter how many EA staff members I speak to. It continues to elude me, Harry.
I believe it's Criago 2-1 up currently in this second leg. So now it's all about just trying to see it home. You have a chance to book your place in the PS4 final and potentially one step away from representing the Reds at the EPL finals a little bit later on this year.
Looks like Criago very much finding himself with a solid team, and I tell you what, Rashford has managed to scrape his way through. We're going to see Croqueta cancels as well, which is going to lead to Saint-Maximin one-on-one, and that usually means it's going in the back of the net. 3-1 in aggregate now to Criago, and this is looking like a solid position for him to be in. Harry, very, very well created.
Yeah, well created. The fadeaway jumper celebration as well is one of my favourites. But yeah, like you said, the Croqueta cancel, it can be so tricky to keep tabs on which way the player is going to go with these skill cancels in FIFA 21. And as you said, Criago executing it perfectly there. Very well done.
I always get a little bit scared from kickoff where you see the skill moves being cancelled left, right and centre. Never ideal. I always get a little bit scared.
I can never do them.
I can do them. I always get scared when I see other people do them because it usually means they're a player. But there we go. Directional bridge not going to work out for Rashford this time around. David Murray now finding himself 3-1 down. Needs to find himself a way back into this one. Saint-Maximin coming forward here for Criago now. Jones in the middle. A lot of people went with that SBC. Jones, of course. There's two different options. There's the left midfielder. There's the centre mid. Many going for the centre mid. Fantastic pairing between Bruno Fernandes, cards, of course, he's got so many. And of course, Team of the Year, De Bruyne is there also, which I believe is who Yago is using himself. Just complements them in so many different ways. Very, very defensive. I see some players playing him at centre-back, and I may be upset about that when I do see it. It's very interesting what to come up against, but Firmino in the middle as well, so deadly, but at the same time, the ball is actually going to be lost on the other side of things, and it looks like David Murray was going to get that one away, but Yago with another opportunity here. Saint-Maximin back to Aubameyang, heel to heel, not going to find its way through Carlos Alberto. But a good opportunity here, 30 minutes into the second leg.
Yeah, Yago is playing very, very well indeed. And I remember him actually bursting through in FIFA 19 at global series competitions, and it's great to see him obviously trying to qualify for his favourite football club here.
Bruyne on the edge of the box to Firmino now. Saint-Maximin looking for a way through, can't quite wriggle past Carlos Alberto. But still, I mean, look, there's still time here for David Murray to get himself back into this one. Seems actually conventional 4 at the back from him as well. Looking like a 4-4-2 or 4-2-2. Alberto Firmino now moving this one forward. And I think if you're David Murray, you look to try and pick a goal away here if you can, leading into half-time. See if you can get some magic working in the second half. It's still relatively close here, Harry. 3-1 is not a deficit. You can say to yourself it's done and dusted, but the directional bridge is going to find Rashford through, and the ball roll was patient, and it's a good goal by David Murray. Very, very well played. That 80 at Rashford doesn't miss from there. 2-1, game on our hands.
Yeah, great goal indeed, and it's, as you said, a 3-1 lead. It's not exactly one you can sit back on if you're Yago here. The Argentinian just beaten, wasn't he, by the directional bridge? Lovely stuff.
It's very hard to defend. It really is. But I think it's 2-4 in the backs here. Refreshing.
We'd love to see it.
Refreshing. If only all my weekend league opponents would do the same. Nonetheless, Firmino looks like he is going to get in the way of that one. Not once, but twice. He's not going to quite creep out for a corner. And this will be a chance now for, well, David Murray to get it away, but not going to happen this time around. De Bruyne finds the pass to Saint-Maximin, unmarked in the box. That's fault. It's an unfortunate one, but it's just a fantastic ball through to Saint-Maximin. I think it's Adama playing him on side. Front post shot. This is FIFA 20, this is 21, but nonetheless, if you're Yago, you will take those kinds of opportunities all day long.
Yeah, a very incisive pass, wasn't it, there from De Bruyne? And, well, just when we thought David Murray might have given himself a bit of a game on his hands in the second half. I mean, now you have to come back from 2 goals once more. Look at Yago, what's that? Is that a performance aid? Warm the hands up?
Stress relieving. Well, what do they, I don't even know if they have a specific name.
I wouldn't like to call it.
We'll not get into that conversation, maybe. Strange, nonetheless. It's usually a hand warmer, you would say.
Yeah, or like a bean bag, something like that.
A bean bag? Even then, why would you have a bean bag?
I don't know, Chris. I don't know.
I thought you were the analyst, yeah. So they don't get it done this right hand side. Best really hasn't been able to get anything going here for David Murray. Saint-Maximin, though, will play this one back. It's a card I wanted to obviously acquire as a Newcastle fan. Not quite able to afford that one. I think it's sitting at a ripe million coins on the PlayStation side of things. That for Saint-Maximin. Of course, central as well. Makes all the difference. Semedo now. Trying to get this away down the right-hand side. Very much a staple right back in the Premier League when it comes to FIFA, of course. The pass not going to find its way through, though, for David Murray, but not necessarily the best right back, I would say, to choose from. There's still a couple of options that you could have went elsewhere with.
Well, again, it comes back to the fact these players have to use their own teams. So not only do you have to think about how many coins you have, but also how you're going to divvy them up. Are you going to sacrifice maybe a bit more of an attacking option in your ultimate team for the ePremier League, or are you maybe going to go a bit more solid at the back and trust your skills going forwards? But I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't laugh at any of these two teams. I think if I match either of these lineups in weekend league, I'm probably going to quit the bit.
Not going to work out this time, though, for David Murray, or will it? Mane Skip down the left-hand side, and the ball rolled not quite enough to get past Reece James. See, one of the future stars items that came up very, very recently and has seen a lot of player time for good reason. De Bruyne now. Pass inside to Jones. It's a good spread ball out wide to Aubameyang. Directional bridge for him as well. Looking for the pass inside. Plenty of runners there as well. Firmino now. 5-star skills, always an issue. Adama, though, the strength will keep him away momentarily. Saint-Maximin back to Bobby Firmino. Now to Saint-Maximin. Big opportunity to go across. Carlos Alberto always in the way of those. And David Murray is hanging on here, it has to be said. But it's only a 2-goal deficit. 61 minutes gone. Still very much time in this game for him to get back into it.
Yeah, good to see Aubameyang coming in from Yago, I believe. We were sort of having a conversation before we came on air, weren't we? You know, when you're sort of locked to these, you know, maximum X amount of icons and Premier League players, who do you choose? I mean, there's plenty of midfielders. It's stacked in there, but there's a couple of, you know, options up front that you can kind of deviate from lineup to lineup. So obviously that road to the final, Aubameyang, I believe he's being deployed out wide currently by Yago, so we'll see if he maybe moves him a little bit more central, going through to the rest of the game. There he is on this near side. Just hugging the touchline currently, Chris.
Yep, it's a good spot for him to be in, to be honest with you, when it comes down to the matter of FIFA 21. Cutting inside, looking for the shot across goal. Aubameyang is definitely somebody who could do some damage there, but Yago is going to get himself away down this left-hand side, only momentarily now. Best to clear this one away. Still a possible opportunity for David Murray to get back into this game. Best will stretch his legs down this right-hand side. Adama Traore, though, ever present at left back. Jones now forward to Best. Get past Adama. Not necessarily the best equipped in terms of the defensive side of things, but just his stature and his speed. Just makes things very, very difficult. We were going to talk about right-backs. We were mentioning before that obviously Nelson Semedo being used on the side of David Murray, but for Yago, his countryman, João Cancelo, he's 86 sitting there as well. Not a bad card to have, but looking like the 5-3-2 about to be brought out. It's the more defensive of the 5 backs that we typically do see. We'll be looking at the 5-2-1-2 if you want to be maybe a little bit more attacking, but the 5-3-2, those 3 defensive midfielders in the middle, as well as your 4 backs, of course. Depends what instructions you have on them, but it's typically a little bit more defensive. Yeah,
we were talking about a 3-1 lead, maybe not one you can sit back on if you're Yago. But the thing is, I mean, look at the time left here in the second leg. I mean, you have a 2-goal advantage. It's all about possession. That's the name of the game right now for Yago. Doesn't have the ball currently, but if he gets it back, as long as you keep it out of the hands of David Murray, then you have a real chance at securing the place in PS4 final.
Yeah, be able to extend this lead here as well. Saint-Maximin moving forward. Oh, he's looking for the pass back to Firmino, and I'm sure he'd recycle that out to the left. But still an opportunity here for David Murray. Those of you who are watching, who play FIFA, will know it's not over till it's over. 2-goal deficit can disappear ever so quickly. Rashford to Mane, can't find the pass, maybe forced it a little bit there towards Saint-Maximin, and Fofana will get this one away, of course. One of the future stars. 3 objective cuts, still complete. Oh, that's a really good ball through. It's a good opportunity for David Murray to reduce that deficit. And once again, 88 Rashford. How much have we talked about Marcus Rashford this year? Sometimes in FIFA, he hasn't necessarily delivered, but this year specifically, seeing a lot of success on the pitch, and a lot of informs because of that as well. This time around, though, Adama's going to break through on this left-hand side. Looks like it's going to be pulled back for. Is that a penalty?
Sure what the referee's given here.
Oh my goodness. That is questionable, but De Bruyne to seal for Yago. Going to go straight down the middle and will be saved by David Murray. I want to say that's maybe a little bit of sympathy from Yago there.
Maybe. Meanwhile, we have a goal alert, obviously, in that other game. Second leg in that one as well. Stingrays 5-1 up. 40 minutes gone in that one. Maybe we can jump into that one after this, but obviously crunch time now for David Murray.
Good ball through. Rashford now. David Murray is clawing his way back into this game. Jones out to Best now. He's taking his time. He has plenty of it. Saint-Maximin to Rashford. Saint-Maximin's made the run forward, as has Rashford, and that was the pass to be made. De Bruyne making his way through, and good job. Reece James got in the way of that one. Still 4-3 now to Yago. May start just ticking this time down, but the press going to come through from David Murray. It has to come. Oh, shaky, shaky moment.
That's why you go for the high press. You force mistakes like that, all of a sudden you have possession left with 2 in-game minutes to go.
Nobody in the middle there for him to find the pass there best. Semedo now to James as there is another goal as Red Lab does pull one back against Stingrayson, but here into the final minute now. David Murray actually directional bridge backwards and then forwards from Horney, and he squeezes his way through. Oh my goodness, how is that went past the keeper? It's going to be Sadio Mane to score it in the 90th minute. The pause will come through for David Murray to maybe just take a moment. But it was well worked, it was patient, and Yago will just about fall at the last moment. 4-4 now. And it's been such an even game. It's very much what David Murray deserves.
I don't know if you caught Yago's reaction there on a player cam, but I think it was very similar to ours. We couldn't believe that one snuck past the keeper from such an acute angle. Credit to David Murray staying in this game for as long as he has. And it's like you said, it doesn't matter how many times you use the hand warmer, the hand stretcher, whatever you're calling that thing, flubber. It's not working out for him so far. 4-4 now in this game. What an incredible goal that
Even
is.
Rachel Stringer's not sure what it is. Rachel, what is it? Well, here we go, then it will indeed be extra time between these two as the other game does carry on. David Murray still with a shake of the head. I think he's not quite sure how that's squeezed in. One thing I would have been maybe a touch concerned for David is the fact that obviously we did see team press start to come in towards the end. That stamina will be draining itself down, so maybe heading in extra time with Yago, you may be feeling a little bit more comfortable here, Harry.
Yeah, maybe, and it comes back to how you set up your team. You obviously have to operate within your means, Chris, but I mean, what sacrifice did that goal come from? I mean, stamina-wise, that's going to be a tricky one.
Well, it's actually going to be a brand new game, so we are actually going to be able to reset that one, and we will be heading into another game to decide that. Obviously, the other game's still going on as well, so I'm sure we're going to jump into that in a second, but we will be back with that extra time, or extra game, I should say, between these two. I believe it's over one leg in this next game. I don't believe it goes to extra time penalty, so a little different of a format to see from what you usually do when it comes to FIFA, of course, but we will go over towards that other game that is going on, but still Stingray very much in control here, Harry.
Yeah, and again, you'd love to have seen maybe Red Lab pull a couple of more goals back. I mean, 3 goals down with 30 minutes to go. It's looking difficult.
Yeah, Stingray here as well with Pele will be offside. Red Lab, though, it's a tall order, 3 goals, especially with how we see Stingray attacking typically anyway. It looks as if he's maybe locked it in a little bit more here. You can see a 5 back once again. Cancelo push this one away. Although I say that is a 5 back, it looks like a 4. But here we go. Curtis Jones down this right-hand side. Good opportunity here for Stingray to maybe put this one to bed. Looking for the pass across if he can. Waits patiently. That's not the ball he wanted, was it? Pele was not quite screaming for it. But now Rashford will be able to get this one forward here, potentially. For the side of Red Lab, Saint-Maximin down this left-hand side. And with a cross in. It's a decent one, but Adama chooses not to attack. Now trying to get something going. He's just bundled Andy Robertson over, and Jones will clear this one away. Yeah, for Stingray, not quite. Continues this attack, but Fernandez can't get it away. Still good pressure here coming in from the side of Red Lab.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's still been queued for quite some time. A bit of sustained pressure will come again, as you say, but it's lucky up the other end. Stingray, just moments previous, I think he was just waiting to see. Oh, cross comes in.
What a fantastic goal that is. Well, I say fantastic. It's kind of lumped in there, of course. But unfortunately not going to get anything going. And, well, I mean, somebody's went full send.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at that stamina right there. That's,
yeah, constant pressure, maybe.
Constant pressure, yeah.
That's not necessarily ideal for Red Lab. He may find a goal back, but I mean, his players are well, cattled.
Well, here's the thing, he had to though, didn't he? I mean, 5-2 down across both legs. You have to go full send at this point. I mean, you have nothing to lose. There's no elimination bracket, there's no losers bracket, there's no lower bracket, there's no second chances here in the knockout phases. It's go big or go home, and it's certainly gone big.
Well, this game is still close, but it does look as if it is going Stingray's side. However, we do want to keep an eye on the other game, of course. We will move into that once again. We will head into that extra game. Of course, no extra time between these two. We do indeed go into another game.
Well, the beauty, obviously, being in this situation, Chris, is that we obviously have the goal alerts, don't we, from the other game?
We
so
do.
If the comeback happens, we can maybe flip-flop between the two of them.
Will, of course, be Yago in the red, and he may well find an opportunity immediately. Not quite. David Murray will get this one away. Can't quite get any further, though, and Yago looking to maybe put the pressure on here once again. Bamiyang now, turning this one back around. So in inside to De Bruyne, directional bridge across. Always looking for that one in the forward direction that you're going. That is the quickest. Not necessarily working out that time for Rashford, and this one will be played away by David Murray.
Yeah, good read defensively as well there from David Murray. Had a little bit of assistance as well from the AI, and obviously the tackle didn't need really to be made, seeing as the player was offside, but it's good to see him starting strong. That's a lovely piece of skill in the middle of the park. Just showing there, Crew Yago, that he came to play here in this decider game.
So Maximin now moving it forward. De Bruyne. This is actually coming down to golden goal, just to remind you guys at home, and maybe an opportunity here once again for Yago to try and get something going. Can't quite work it out. I'd imagine both teams are playing very, very cautious. No penalties here in the EPL playoffs, of course. Rhys James now moving this one forward, and out wide now to Adama. We love drama here, though, in FIFA Esports, don't we? And nothing more dramatic than a golden goal, is there? Maybe an opportunity here with David Murray. Ball clipped in, will not land anywhere. João Cancelo will get this one away. Yago looked unfazed. All back in now. Mane to Rashford. Maybe a good opportunity here for David Murray once again. Across to Mane. Look for the pass across to Saint-Maximin. Oh, the keeper's got it away, and Adama will get it away as well.
Look at David Murray's reaction.
Oh.
He couldn't believe it.
Oh. Spain without the S for David Murray in that situation, though. That's one of those where you expect Saint-Maximin to just get his little toe to it.
But if he doesn't score the next goal, David Murray, in this golden goal situation, just remember that moment. That's how close he was booking his spot in the console finals.
Of course, no losers bracket on this side of things either. You've had that opportunity. You know, De Bruyne, speaking of opportunities, is going to find one for Yago, and that will be game. Every opportunity that comes, you must take, and David Murray unfortunately couldn't take his. Yago, though, seconds later, will find one himself. A fantastic goal by De Bruyne once again, but that's heartbreaking.
Devastating.
Heartbreaking. My controller's launched after that one. That's unfortunate.
That's harsh. That is so harsh. I mean, what a game, though, between the two of them. If that's an indication of anything else we have to come here, no doubt it will be. I'm looking forward to the rest of the games here, because that was a barnstormer. That was a barn burner.
A barnstormer?
Yeah.
Is that what we use? Okay, well, you know what, we'll let you make it up. But what a fantastic game it was between those two. Of course, Stingray and the other side of the games, you know, that looking like Stingray is going to get himself through. So it's looking like a Stingray Yago final likely. Both looking like they have impressive teams here, Harry. It's going to be a hard one to decide, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another golden goal type situation again. I mean, as a spectator and as a neutral in all this, I would absolutely love to see that. And we're just getting confirmation, Chris, that Stingray actually closed out the result in the other semi-final. So now that PS4 final is confirmed, we have Yago taking on Stingray. So if we get another golden goal, I might be jumping out of this seat once or twice or three times, because yeah, real heartbreak there for David Murray.
Yeah, real heartbreak, especially with that sort of chance as well. It's so difficult to take, but that's FIFA. Sometimes, you know, these chances cannot represent themselves here, and maybe you would have a half chance, like the goal that he found to actually tie things up and send it to golden goal. That was one that we didn't necessarily expect to go in. Then you get the chance in golden goal, which looks golden. If anything, and unfortunately, Saint-Maximin can't take that. I ain't going to blame it on actual Alan Saint-Maximin because I would never do such a thing. But at the same time, you've got to say he's got to put that away.
Yeah, I mean, he really does. Like you said, you could argue maybe a bit fortuitous to be in that situation in the first place when that Mane equaliser from such an acute angle sneaks in somehow. But yeah, you're expecting Saint-Maximin to poke it home, and instead it's Yago who goes up the other way. Great composure shown by the Argentinian, by the way, who was able to go up the other end, and I think we'll take a look at it now, Chris.
Yeah, let's have a look, of course, at De Bruyne, who sealed this one for Yago. I mean, in this situation, look at the run coming across that team of the. I mean, it's just that touch and the left foot to finish 5-star weak foot. I mean, De Bruyne from there is never going to miss that one. A fantastic goal coming through there. But I mean, Rachel and Pete, what a fantastic game to kick things off here at the Liverpool Premier League qualifier, of course.
Always dramatic, isn't it, where Liverpool are involved? And what are we now, 20 years on from a UEFA Cup final being settled by a golden goal? We had it exactly here, and a game decided by key moments by probably the most experienced player out of the two.
I mean, absolute heartbreak, wasn't it, from David Murray there? Looked so close to score, and it was probably kind of the underdog, I'm going to say, because Yago is a player that we know from the FIFA community, the FIFA scene. He's gone to a couple of these global series events that are the pinnacle of the FIFA scene. And the fact that, he has to capitalise on a mistake like that. He did, didn't he? Yago went straight down the other end, got his goal there by De Bruyne, like the boys said, and makes himself a finalist today, which is everything that he'll want and more. Argentinian player. So I'm really intrigued to have a chat to him and see, I guess, why he's picked Liverpool as well, and see a bit of a history behind him, and get the answer to the question everyone wants to know. What on earth is it? A hand warmer or a hand massager? What was that green thing he was holding? I have no idea, Pete.
You'll have to tell us a little bit later. I'm intrigued by all the small details of these things
I know you are.
as well, and even the headphones. What have they got on in the headphones? Is it music to relax them? Is it their coach that's talking them through certain moments? Because they'll all have their own little habits, won't they, as to what gets them through these fine moments.
Yeah, we can ask them, but sometimes it's another pro player. They might have someone they always play like the friendlies before they warm up, and they'll be in their ear. Like you said, it might be a manager, or even going one step further, a psychologist. We're about to find out.
Right, I think we can speak to our finalists now who've, they've wiped their hands clear of the sweat, or they've massaged them down a little bit as well. Let's go to Sting Grayson first, who looked so cool, calm and collected throughout that whole game. We saw the first game, of course, and you looked very dominant, you looked very confident throughout that. It was a bit closer in the second game, I think, but how delighted are you to get through to this final tonight?
Honestly, I can't really put it into words, but I know it's never going to be an easy game, especially against someone like Yago, so I'm excited to play. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah, Sting Grayson, I'll ask you another question as well. For those people who do watch FIFA really closely, you were involved in the England setup a couple of weeks back. Unfortunately, you missed out on becoming an E-Lion and England representative. Is it kind of made you even more determined to go on to represent Liverpool tonight?
Yeah, I know that I have the ability to compete there, and unfortunately it was a 120th minute goal that knocked me out. I don't know if I can take an established pro to that far. I know I've got what it takes.
You were saying in the questionnaire that we saw that you'd filled in that you hate playing against back fives, but you didn't have much problem with it tonight.
Yeah, thankfully, I feel like something just clicked and I could play against it. And yeah, I can't describe how happy I am to not have to play against, well, hopefully not another five back, but got one out the way.
And obviously, you know who your competitor is. It's Yago, of course. You didn't get a chance, I guess, to watch much of his gameplay because you were playing at the same time. How much do you know about Yago's gameplay, and how excited are you to play him in this final?
In all honesty, I think probably the two people who should be here are here. And I played Yago in the first qualifier, and I've played him in this tournament as well. He got the better of me in this one, but I also got the better of him in the first qualifier. So, you know, it's kind of, this is the third, you know, the trilogy, and this is it.
Okay, well, Sting Grayson, congratulations on making it through to the final. Yago, you're also making it through to the final. We kept talking about it. We're going to ask this question first. What are you holding there? The boys want to know, is it a hand massager? Is it a hand warmer? Tell us what it does and what it is.
No, it's a honor. Play here, play for Liverpool, play the ePremier League. I qualified the last season with West Ham, but with the COVID, I can't fly to here to play. It's a honor play again here.
Talk to us, Yago, about the big moments in the game, because you rode your luck a little bit, didn't you? You survived missing the penalty, chipping it straight into the goalkeeper's hands. You survived that real scare late at the end for the golden goal, but you still managed to come through and grind out the win.
Yes, I scared because I winning 4-2 and I made a little mistakes and I take 2 nutmegs and it's strange, and after he is very close to score and I score with De Bruyne in the next shoot and it's FIFA.
Yeah, it is FIFA. That's what happened, doesn't it? You know, if someone makes a mistake, you are going to go down the other end and capitalise on that mistake. Yago, I know your aim for this season is to get to the FIFA E World Cup finals. How important would it be to represent Liverpool as well and kind of, I guess, add that to your repertoire before you get there and build on, I guess, you know, yourself as a pro? Because you are a pro in the FIFA community. Everyone knows who you are as a player.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I don't know how to say hello in English, and you made my first interview in London, in the Foot Cup 2. And now I'm playing here. The last season I stay in the top 10 players of the world all season, and I can play the Euro Cup, and now it's my dream. I really want to play the Euro Cup, and this is the options what I need to do, you know?
I think his English is great.
Yeah, it's coming on a
I
bundle.
helped you there, Yago. I love that. Thank you so much for reminding me.
Should be sending that invoice on to you, Yago. You be careful where that is concerned. They've played each other before in a final. Could that maybe... Or they've played each other before in a game. Could that maybe have a bearing where that is concerned for this game, I wonder?
I mean, I don't know. From what we saw there, both of them played absolutely amazingly. Obviously, you know, kind of one had to go to golden goal there, which wasn't exactly nice. And you mentioned it. Missed a penalty. Nerves showing a little bit. Got put under pressure, I'm going to say, didn't he? Yago in the final stage of that, but hold his nerve.
I think David Murray thought he had him then, didn't he, when he missed that penalty?
Absolutely thought he had him, but held his nerve, managed to go through, and now gets to play Stingrace. And these two are still both at the top of their game. So I think we're in for a real treat in this final here.
I think we can take a look at the bracket, which confirms all of the loose ends that we've been showing you throughout the course of the night. Of course, we'll chop and change between the games where that is concerned, but that's confirmation of that game that will get them through to the final stage, one of them hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. One of them, in a couple of hours' time, is going to be a Liverpool representative on the PS4 side of things. We'll have a chance, as we mentioned at the top of the show, to go to the ePremier League finals, the FIFA finals in a couple of months' time, and have a shot at winning £20,000. Pretty good, isn't it?
Certainly is. Going to take a quick breather here. We'll have more FIFA coming back for you very soon and get into the Xbox category as well when we come back. And welcome back. We've done PlayStation so far. We know who's going to go through to play in the final. Of course, we have a brand new pretender to the throne this year because the hot favourite has gone out. So there's going to be a new name on everybody's lips where that is concerned at the end of tonight. But the old traditional name, the one that we always talk about when these tournaments comes along, is Tekkz. And he's trying to do what is so hard for every top team to do in real football, let's say, is that once you win one title, trying to retain it is difficult. When you've won it a second time and retained it, trying to do it a third year, which is exactly what Tekkz is trying to do this year, Rach.
Yeah, he's trying to represent, isn't he, Liverpool for the third year running. Basically trying to just renew his contract, keep that contract rolling, which, you know, if you perform as a player, that's obviously what you do. But yeah, if we cast our mind back to the first ever ePremier League, that was 2 years ago now. He won the final. Last year, unfortunately, he got knocked out in kind of a really final stage. He got knocked out in the Xbox final. So he got knocked out to Bournemouth's Mark Marley then, so couldn't actually go that one step further and go on to the grand cross-console final, which is what we have in these events where Watford, we mentioned that earlier, they went on to become champions with Thomas Lees, their player from last year. So for him this year, I think firstly it's about trying to get that shirt. Trying to get that, keep it on his back. Everyone's trying to cling it off him, quite literally grab that shirt off of his back. And then he'll want to go and win that title again. If you've won it once, you've got a taster for it. Surely that kind of makes you even more determined to go and win that again. But, you know, he's going to have a tough game in his hands up against Horney 118, who he's up against in this next matchup in the first semi-final. Yeah,
taking inspiration from Istanbul back in 2005. He's clearly a big Champions League fan. All his big moments, all his favourite players are picked from that. Just a word on Tekkz before we hand to the game, Rach, because we've seen in the past, in his very first year, he got straight off a plane. He was jet-lagged. He had his hood up. You know, last year he was there with his mum in support of him. I just wonder how he will adapt to the fact that he's at home tonight, and how will that pressure be different for him tonight as he takes on a new opponent?
Well, like the players we just saw, Tekkz has been playing a lot of these games at home throughout the past year, like all the pros have. So he's kind of used to it. You know, he'll know the setup really well. He probably prefers it, to be honest with you. He's someone that, you know, doesn't particularly like the limelight. If you go and, you know, interview him and stuff on the day, he's, you know, quite unassuming. He just kind of gets on with his business quite quietly and never really likes to big up his chances. But let's have a quick talk about Horney 118, because the fact that he looks up to Tekkz the most in the FIFA scene surely says something. You know, maybe is Horney 118 a little bit nervous going up against him? If you're going up against your idol, how does that make you feel? I don't know. Maybe he really wants to go and beat him. I've had a look here that their head-to-head actually is one apiece. So he has beaten him in the past. Can this be the day when he goes and does it again? Single elimination. So if he does, that means Tekkz is going home, which I don't think any Liverpool fan will want to see. And neither, obviously, does Tekkz. And I don't know, neither do we. Not that I'm taking sides. Horney 118, I'm not just saying that. But Tekkz, obviously, is the one that everyone knows in the FIFA scene, isn't he?
OK, time for the talking to stop. Let's get over to Chris and Harry, who will guide us through what we're hoping is going to be another very dramatic semi-final.
Oh, the talking doesn't stop, Pete. It just continues. It continues again. It just gets maybe a bit louder over here, you know, all this north lot. Harry, how are you doing in here?
I'm doing
You're
well,
quite
mate.
far north, really, aren't you?
I am, yeah. That's it. I got a nosebleed. I do like how we're looking like we're about to step out onto Anfield, though, in our training kits and our little training room, so to speak. So it's nice. Nice to be here.
It's the closest I've been to exercise in a good year, I would say.
Yeah, same here. I'm surprised they didn't give me 2 sizes up from last time.
I legitimately sized up, but here we go, of course, into this game. And it should be an interesting one. It always is when Tekkz is part of it, of course. Tekkz in the England kit from left to right. And then the Liverpool home kit will, of course, be Horney.
Well, I mean, Liverpool FC has become synonymous with Tekkz at this point, hasn't he? I mean, back-to-back Xbox champion. And, well, I don't want to use the word legend just yet, but in terms of ePremier League, he certainly is one of those synonymous with Liverpool Football Club at this point, Chris. I mean, he's won it twice in a row. Can he go 3 times in a row? I think it's highly possible the answer to that is yes, but he has a very formidable opponent in his way first and foremost in Horney 118. And as Rachel said before, you know, the 1v1 head-to-head stature so far is 1 apiece, so anything can happen.
And there we go. Tekkz trying to get something going from left to right here. Zaha. Curtis Jones looking for the run to the back post of R9. Cruyff here to help him out as well, trying to do something in the box. Not going to work out. And Horney will just about defend that one. Ball's going to be brought in here from Tekkz. Still trying to get the ball forward here will be Horney now. Adama into Ronaldo himself, and no, not able to work anything. Both very, very good teams, as we can see there. 94 Ronaldo, 91 Cruyff, of course. But I mean, we'll cut the game, so we should be able to get back into this one fairly quickly. Tekkz just trying to figure out an issue, perhaps. We do know that the other game has been ongoing as well on the other side of the bracket, and things were looking to liven up there, weren't they? It was very one-sided from what we've seen. We will jump into that potentially as well, of course, if we can't get this figured out. But it's been eventful so far, of course. The PlayStation side really did deliver, Harry, and hopefully the Xbox side is going to do exactly the same.
Well, yeah, of course. Everyone at this competition so far is not only playing for these 2 trophies right here, separated, of course, by a COVID-safe screen here at the studios, but also for the chance to wear the shirt. I mean, that's probably the main motivator for these players, is not only to, you know, win one of these trophies, but to represent your football club, your chosen football club that you've decided to battle through the gauntlet, through all the games, through all the online process. We say this year in, year out, it's grueling. And now you're here in the semi-finals. And, well, for 2 competitors on the PlayStation side, they're already in the grand finals. They await to go head-to-head, but we still have 4 competitors here on the Xbox side that we need to whittle down to 2, and then eventually 1 champion.
One competitor I did want to see was actually, specifically, trying what side I'm on, this man, Diogo Jota. He's multiple 30-0s in Weekend League.
Pretty good, isn't he?
Why isn't he in?
I don't know.
Why isn't he in?
He's pretty darn good at FIFA, yeah.
He's bloody good at FIFA.
We saw Patrick Bamford, of course, for Leeds,
Yep.
competing in their ePremier League.
Ended up playing against the winner
Yeah.
in Oli Lito. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Multiple
bit
FUT
tough.
Champs stage winner.
Yeah, bit of a tough first round there. Just hearing it's 5-3 to Gavin Wong in the other semi-final while we wait for the technical difficulties to be ironed out in the Tekkz game. But yeah, I want to see more real-life footballers take on, you know, this type of gauntlet, because, like you said, Diogo Jota's not bad. We've seen
Alexander Arnold play quite
Alexander
well.
Arnold, of course. Yeah, wasn't he playing in not Twitch Rivals? He was playing in some competition with Tekkz before, and he was holding his own. So, would like to see it more often. I don't know why Diogo Jota didn't go in. Maybe he's focusing on getting things done on,
actual real football.
on the real football pitch. Yeah, it's
possibly.
probably more important to him. Now I think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It would have been nice, though. I mean, obviously he can play, and I feel like he has actually played against a couple of the pro players. Oh, well, obviously he would have ran into them in Weekend League as well. It's safe to say Diogo Jota, he's a pretty good team, in fairness. I would like to think he has, infinite funds to really spend on it, of course. Well, you do see that many of the footballers, of course, get their own 99 cars as well, which is always a good step
Is
to
that
actually
allowed
helping.
in competitions, though?
I don't think it would have been allowed in this one. That
would
might
have
have been a little bit
allowed.
unfair, in fairness. But Premier League players,
Technically, he's a Premier League player. They didn't say
he is.
no 99
Wouldn't have to
cards.
use his 83 one to watch, maybe? No,
No.
maybe not.
But speaking about teams, it's a rough draw, obviously, here for Horney, because he has to go up against Tekkz, who plays Ultimate Team so much because he is one of the best in the world. Obviously, he's taken a little bit of a step back this season.
Yep.
For whatever reason, but he's still one of those high-level competitors. We've seen him in years previous. I mean, we've seen him in this competition especially. Has been, I mean, absolutely imperious at times. The fact that he plays so much Ultimate Team, and you draw him in a competition where you have to use your own teams. Yeah, Horney's going to have a great team too, but this is Tekkz. Like this is Tekkz you have to go up against.
Like, look, he is one of the top competitors in the world, and of course will have a very, very strong team, even if it is just a Premier League team. We've seen how good some of the Premier League items have been this year, though. I mean, look, it's usually meta all the way through. It very much is this year as well. We're seeing quite a lot of these players. Obviously, Team of the Year iterations coming out very, very recently. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, I mean, I would...
Are you really going to call him that? You can say it that
we
way?
were having this conversation. Do we need to do... I mean, if we were to do it in my local dialect, it's Bruno Fernandes. But the commentator in games says it as Fernandes.
Yeah, that's Derek Ray, though.
Well, yeah, okay. You're saying that we don't have to be as professional as Derek Ray?
I don't know. I'm just saying he doesn't say it the way that I say it.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
It is all you're saying, apparently. But hopefully we will be able to get into this game very, very shortly. Of course, in your home setting, you know, the guys were having this conversation before. To say, is it more favourable? I would say it's certainly more comfortable, surely, wouldn't it be, for both players?
Well, I think you'd rather want to play Tekkz when he's sat in his own bedroom, because we've seen what he can do on such an important stage. So, I mean, you take him out of that live event setting, some players thrive out of that environment. I mean, we saw him again. All you have to do is think about this competition 2 years ago where he won Atlanta, got on a plane. I mean, his feet weren't on English soil for, 2 hours, and he turned up at Anfield and then qualified at that live event setting as well. So I feel like if you're going to play Tekkz, you probably prefer that he's, in his own bedroom rather than, fresh off a plane from a Global Series Cup.
Yeah, and it was 5-4 to Gavin Wong within the first leg, if I am correct. So an interesting game going on there, very, very close one on the other side of things. So still time to go in that game, and that is an interesting matchup as well. But this is kind of the side we are leaning towards. You know, we know that Horney is a very, very solid player. Obviously, we know Tekkz as well. Hopefully, we will be ready to get into this game shortly. But as I said, I think, it kind of doesn't matter where you play him at times. But we know that, he has that skin to get through it, when it comes down to these like under the lights games, on a LAN setting, he's very much one of the best in the world. But when it comes down to FIFA, when it comes down to any game, playing online can sometimes make it a little bit different. Playing from your own bedroom can make things a little bit different. So interested to see if it does work out in Horney's favour. I do wonder if it will or not. But at least in the few minutes gameplay that we did see, he seemed to be holding his own a little bit, Harry.
Yeah, actually intrigued to hear the head-to-head result from Rachel earlier when she said that these two have played each other in competitions before. One apiece. That to me says that this is going to be quite an interesting, I don't want to say poise on a knife edge, but you've already proven that you can take a game off of Tekkz, right? So all you have to do is take two more. Obviously, easier said than done. It's a lot easier said than done, but you have to, take that as a bit of confidence. You've already proven to him that you aren't just going to roll over. You're going to show your belly. You've proven to him that you can take a game. You can score goals, and over 2 legs. Again, we have to stress single elimination here. There's no second chances.
No, there really is not. And of course, when it comes down to FIFA 21, there has been times where obviously we have seen certain teams, or certain players, I should say, go up against each other, specifically online, and results maybe not go the way you would expect it. FIFA 21, with some of the formations that the way that people do set up, it's sometimes very, very hard to break down. That 5 at the back being one of them as well. That 5-3-2 specifically, you can sit really deep. You can sit with those 3 centre defensive midfielders, or central midfielders, just dropping back. It's so hard to break down. And I feel as if Tekkz, with that name, with that presence, is always going to run into these sort of things. My team's semi-decent, and I run into it every single weekend, never mind Tekkz. So I can only imagine that it's just such a hard thing to break down, especially when you come to these defensive formations.
Yeah, we are still waiting to get into the game, guys. I'm hearing it's an invite issue, apparently, between the two. So, it's the joys of working from home, playing from home. Sometimes these technical issues happen, and as soon as we're ready to get into the game, we will. But yeah, it's like you say, the temptation, if you see a player like Tekkz on the other side, go for that 5-3-2,
drop back.
Go for that drop back, go minimal depth, just make sure he has to do absolutely everything to break you down, and then maybe you can hit him on the counter. Well, it'll be interesting to see if that will be the tactics exhibited not only by Horney, but also if Tekkz is able to win this semi-final, what happens in the Xbox console final as well to represent Liverpool Football Club. Yeah,
which is ultimately what we are here to crown, of course. PlayStation side, we do have a grand final ready and raring to go, but we do need to find our Xbox finalists yet. And I do believe we should be getting into this game shortly, but of course on the other side of things, we may well have another finalist coming up as well. That game is still continuing, so the schedule does not change. We do much on. But this is definitely the game that a lot of people are looking towards to be interesting. But the other side of things, of course, that's a very, very close game. We will keep an eye on how that one is going. But at this moment in time, we're just trying to get this game sorted. But as you mentioned, it's the beauty of this online world that we are now in. Of course, usually this will be everybody at the stadium. Funny story, actually.
Oh, this is a funny story.
and I'm really landing myself in this one. Of course, we got the email through to say where we got to go. Of course, the studios here, Liverpool's official studios in the centre of Liverpool.
Chris Tunn doesn't read emails.
Chris Tunn doesn't read
Important
emails.
Fact.
Chris Tunn presumed that we were where we did last time, which was at Anfield.
The last 2 years, to be fair. Give yourself some
Yeah,
credit.
okay. So, 2 out of 3 I've got right. This time, unfortunately, we didn't, and we turned up at Anfield 20 minutes before we should have. And we being me. I was talking to myself in the third person.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate one, isn't it, really? But, it's because we're so excited to be at Anfield again. Don't let Newcastle fans let me hear me saying that, of course.
I mean, it's a beautiful stadium, and I got to tell you, man, this is one of my favourite competitions throughout the entire FIFA calendar. I know again, we are waiting to get back into the game, and in fact, I'm just hearing the game's ready to go. But I absolutely love the ePremier League because it's just such an interesting competition based on the permutations you have on the teams. You have to use X amount of Premier League players. You're only allowed X amount of icons, and well, especially the years previous where they were using the unlocked accounts at the club's grounds or wherever the playoffs were being held. You could just have any combination of players that you wanted. Obviously a bit different this year as they play from home. They have to use their own teams, but it just brings such an interesting dynamic, and you have to figure out which are the meta players, which are the players that work for you, and no doubt both of these players have figured that out already.
Tekkz is going to have the first opportunity as we do get back into the game. It's going to be Cruyff inside the box. It usually results in something, which is a pass to R9. And that game will start exactly in the way that we would like it to if you are a Tekkz fan. That's a 1-0 lead for him now. Changing his settings around nonetheless, even after the goal. But, I mean, what do you do? Cruyff and R9 bearing down on you in your box. It's always an awkward position to be in.
I mean, he's got that goal without any of his settings being properly set up. That's how impressive Tekkz is. It's business as usual for the man who's represented Liverpool for 2 years in a row now. Tekkz, obviously, in the England kit here. Going up against Horney 1-1-8. And like I said, Chris, it's a mountain to climb here if you're Horney. It's so tough to break a player down like Tekkz. But, I mean, an early goal is not ideal, but it's only one so far.
See if Horney can get back into this one now. 4 at the back from Tekkz, and maybe an opportunity to break that 4 at the back down from Horney, but not this time around. Already conceding though, it's one of those where you can't just necessarily sit back on that 5, but it's a ridiculous ball through to Rashford now, inside the box as well. Skills to, of course, break the player down, but very, very well defended. Reece James getting in the way, and it's that ball rule scoop turn. It's such an effective one. We see it time and time again. Not necessarily working out this time around with Rashford for Tekkz. Zaha now to Cruyff. Don't know if that's moments or just mid or prime, still scary as ever. Bruno Fernandes, you've got me confused which way to say it now. I was saying it the correct way.
Fernandes.
Okay. Adama now down the left-hand side, just taking his time to break him down here. It is looking like a 5 at the back coming out from Horney, and you really don't blame him going up against a man like Tekkz. And not able to break through, and Cancelo should be able to get this one away for Horney.
Of course, those eagle-eyed fans would have seen that goal alert pop up at the bottom of the screen from the other semi-final. A 10-goal thriller, 5-5 in that encounter. Now we'll keep you up to date with all the happenings over in the other semi-final here on the Xbox side.
Now Cancelo now, looking for an option forward, and I think if you're Horney here, you just maybe take your time. Try and figure a way through. Cancelo now. To Zaha as Tekkz wins the ball and will draw a free kick as well. Mo Salah with the foul. Short one to be taken. Zaha to pass it back as well, and now out to Adama. Well, I've just been told another goal in the other semi-final. Why are we watching this one? Moto LFC now 6-5 to the good. He was 5-3 down at one point, if I recall correctly. So Gavin Wong, some work to do here now. Cruyff, directional bridges all over the place from Tekkz. Now on 9, back inside, faking his way around, cancelling skill moves left, right, and centre. It's so hard to play against. Cruyff now, back to Bruno Fernandes. To Ronaldo once again, and just building, taking his time, looking for the opportune moment. Zaha though will stray offside, and all that pressure is gone.
Yeah, it has gone, but you can see what Tekkz tries to do is, if anyone's been watching FIFA esports over the past few years, you know exactly how Tekkz likes to play. He just likes to play patient, get that diamond opportunity with those skill moves and skill cancels, and tries to turn you this way, that way. He's one of the best in the world at doing it, and unfortunately it comes to nothing there, but Horney 118 here needs to show Tekkz that he's in the game.
Opportunity here though. See the run from R9. That's right inside, ball roll. Not once, not twice, 3 times to try and get something going there. Not something you see too often. Not necessarily working out for Horney either. And Salo now. On this right hand side. To right back, I wouldn't mind, and my squad at the moment. Very Portuguese orientated right now. I was, I'm not going to speak about it actually, I might just annoy some people. FUT Champs Premium upgrade, 94 Ronaldo. Can you imagine? Anyway, Moto LFC now 7-5 up. Things looking so good on his side of things now after being behind initially. Here we go, Tekkz wanted the good here, looking to add more. Good defensive work there by Horney. They chased him down, didn't just sit back. Sometimes you do see players just sit and wait for the mistake to be made, but Horney very much went chasing after that ball.
Yeah, 12 goals so far in the other semi-final. Of course, that's in the second leg. Just the 1 so far here in the first, in this semi-final. Still plenty of FIFA to be played. You can just see exactly how cautiously both players are willing to play here. They know what's at stake. They know the calibre of the opposition.
Oh, double directional bridge, not going to find its way through, and it's a penalty. Oh, that's an unfortunate one. The keeper dives at the player's feet, and in FIFA 21, you know that it can result in something. Bruno Fernandes, with his 99 penalties, is expected to take this one. Which way does he go? Straight down the middle. That's 2-0 to Tekkz now. It's feeling like a second goal was coming, and it will find its way through via penalty, and Horney will be disappointed at that one nonetheless. But 2-0, very much deserved. Team of the year, Bruno Fernandes, making this 2-0.
Maybe it's one of those cards that we were speaking about. It just sort of does everything on the pitch, doesn't he? But there's a real chance here, maybe.
My word.
For 118 to bring things up the other end.
Mortal now. 8-5 to the good. What a turnaround that's been.
13 goals.
Well, not necessarily working out there. Flick over from R9. Good to see a bit of showboating, of course. We know that the kick-up and, of course, the keep-me-ups all the way to goal are quite successful at times. There's maybe an opportune moment to do it there, but Zaha inside the box is always a dangerous prospect to try and defend against. And now R9, scoop turn likely, there it is. Back to Zaha, waiting for the run of Cruyff. You can see he's looking for it. R9 now, heel to heel, 3-3. 3 goals now for Tekkz. And he's just like, okay, yeah, that's what he can do. Phenomenal from Tekkz. We see cancels, we see 5-star skill moves, and it is the heel to heel that ultimately breaks through, and that's now 3 goals to the good for Tekkz.
Just a smile and the shake of the head from Horney. He knows that he was absolutely outclassed in that occasion. There's nothing you can do about that. 3-0 at the half. Not a single shot really registered from 118 whatsoever, and I'm trying to think to any real chances he had in that first half. They were fleeting, to say the least. So hopefully we can see a better showing in this second half. This is a 2-legged affair, of course, the first leg. We're watching right now as we kick off the second half, but again, easier said than done. But you get this back to 3-1, you get this back to 3-2 even. You have a chance in the second leg, you really do. I mean, look at what's happening in the other semi-final. 5-3 down, you're now 8-5 up, I believe, which is, I mean, nothing short of brilliant.
I think Yago said it perfectly. That's FIFA. And ultimately, you know, if you are Horney, you can maybe try and find yourself back into this game. Now Rashford working his way once again. Ball roll, scoop turn, ball roll, scoop turn. It's A very effective way to break on through, but now it's 9 for Moto LFC. Looking like we will have at least one finalist confirmed there. That's a 4-goal difference, sorry.
They could get to 15 goals if they're not careful across those 2 legs. That really is something special.
Well, here we go with Bergwijn down the right-hand side. Able to break through. Bruno Fernandes does everything. I told you he fouls players and it still works out. There we go, look at that. Directional bridge from Rashford out the side of Tekkz. Breaking forward, men in the box as well. Expect another one, but once again, ball or scoop, wait for your moment to try and find something. Fernandes is somebody who can find a pass. It momentarily just back to Rashford. A standard croquette to try and break through. Fernandes now to Curtis Jones. R9, oh, so dangerous to look at. Oh, look at the pass, my goodness me. The cancel in the middle of it as well, and the smile from Horney says it all.
Oh, what do you do? What do you do when he's mesmerising you with tricks like that, but also is looking further up the pitch to find the pass? What do you do?
This really does feel like one of those years that a Tekkz fan to say that he really could go on to do dangerous things playing some of the best FIFA we've seen so far today. It's just so hard to go up against, isn't it? Horney, you maybe try and get a ball back, goal back here. Cruyff now through to R9, doesn't usually miss these chances. Oh, that's a thick end of 15 million coins there. Hasn't put that past Nick Pope. To the box now for Mo Salah to put a pass. Fernandes always in the way. Dama Traore will now get this away for Tekkz. But just needs to take his time here. He's got the lead, doesn't need to rush anything, Harry.
No, certainly not. And to play devil's advocate on that previous chance, yeah, you say R9 doesn't usually miss those. He had a square on actually as well, but look at this from Tekkz.
Once again, directional bridges, we know how strong they are. Rashford taking his time, Cruyff now. With a turn back, not going to work out. Jones will now get this one away. Salah, Firmino now. To R9 on the side of Horney now. Cruyff as well, so both going with that similar attacking setup. Firmino inside, Jones in the way. Played by Tekkz. Looking like a 4-2-3-1 either side of things here for both players. 4-4-2 is being quite better. 4-3-2-1 is making its way in at the moment as well, alongside all those 5 backs, of course. 3-5-2 is also an option, very similar to the 5 backs.
I think we saw 4-2-2. I think it was Ranners who did a video on it recently. Set it up with the right custom tactics, you can really make it work for you.
Oh yeah, there's many different formations that can work in FIFA 21, but I think that's maybe down to everybody just trying to figure out which is the best way to go. Fernandes heel to heel, edge inside, still got the ball, the strength from the Manchester United man can't quite find his way through. Ball to be whipped in here. Anthony Fernandes, we know that corners can be effective, but keep our movement, very much something that can nullify that. Zaha now. So again, the cricketer maybe making its return just a little bit. We didn't see too much in 20, but remember FIFA 19, my goodness.
Cricketer central, wasn't it? Every single attack we saw.
Cricketer, time finesse.
Yeah. Hit those greens. It's flying top bins.
Your favourite FIFA you told me, huh?
I never said that.
Here we go, Tekkz now.
I'm a Pro Clubs kid, right?
Rashford now. To Fernandes, and again can do it defensively. That high work rate is what I love about him as well. Not only can he find the back of the net, find a pass, he can defend as well. His interceptions, he just gets in the way consistently. You can pick up any of his informs, of course his headliner. Of course, even if you are lucky enough to have the points from the team of the year, do it. Ronaldo now. Vernon flip-flop. Oh, we like to see that. Berber spins across the place, so on bikinis if you like, but Pope wise to it, and Tekkz will get in the way, and once again, only just not able to find a way through yet. Can't break him down. Tekkz, as good as he is going forward, very strong defensively as well.
Yeah, we don't often speak about it, do we, from Tekkz, really good defending, but good showing from Horney, you know, just showing that, hey, I can do those skill moves too, and if you're not careful, just let this slip. It's unlikely, but it's still possible.
Oh, Cruyff, directional bridge, and oh well, Virgil van Dijk will get in the way of that one. Much to Tekkz' annoyance. 4-0 here though. very first leg. The 84th minute we go. The goal back here for Horney would maybe make it questionable in the second leg, but right now it's looking good for Tekkz.
No goals from the other semi-final. Are they all right? It's been a it's been a few minutes.
Cruyff now. Horney, maybe one last opportunity to knock on the door of Tekkz, and Reece James will just get in the way. Playing wide now to Jones though, as the attack does continue here for Horney now, and Cruyff, Firmino's making the run, chooses to go to him as well. Kyle Walker covers that all day long. Tough opportunity to take.
Yeah, really, really tough. Just got caught in somewhat of an unfortunate animation there, I would say, from Horney, but it was really good build-up. Needs to be careful and obviously tight at the back going forwards, because you can't afford to ship any more goals against Tekkz. Tekkz is wiping his face while he's passing the ball around. That's how easy it is for him right now. The press has to come in, and the foul's being forced. It's the end of the first leg.
On to his phone, as if it's anything normal. Tekkz more than happy with that 4-0 lead here, of course, mentioned in the first leg. The other side of things, though, of course, things have ended there, and it's looking as if that one is going to be over. We will have, of course, Otto find himself in that grand final, of course, for the Xbox side of things. So, going to be an interesting one if Tekkz can finish this out, and it is very much looking likely that he will, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a second leg to come. We can't count Horney out just yet. I mean, again, it's like you said, Yago said in the interview, that's FIFA. It's unlikely that we'll see Tekkz let it slip, but, I mean, if he doesn't, he's going to have to go up against a guy who scored 9. Scored 9 goals in the other semi-final. That is one I'll be very much looking forward to.
Just classic FIFA from Tekkz once again. That's an unfortunate one.
Yeah.
Keep her out, you know, and that's to make it 2. It was really the third that I'm looking forward to seeing again, though. Fantastic work.
It's a shame we don't get to see Horney's reaction from that third goal. Because like I said, it was fantastic, and Horney knew it as well. He just had just a wry shake of the head, a wry smile. And was just, I think, submitting to brilliance. Here it is.
Starting Zaha to Cruyff, heel to heel, just nicely done. And it was even the build-up before that was just so hard to deal with. Yeah, Horney there, and of course now seeing that ball go in. No surprise to see R9 put that one away. And then this was to make it 4 as well. Patient play. Once again, ball roll, scoop turn, and still. I think that's mid-Croqueta cancel pass coming through. There you go, halfway through.
Croqueta cancel, left foot pass into Cruyff. If you're not watching the ball and you're watching the men behind, he'll beat with the skill moves. If you're watching their skill moves, then he's going to beat you with the pass. That was a real chance, though, for Horney.
Yeah. Actually, Tekkz moving his keeper as well, which has probably made the difference there, of course. And if that one could go one way, you know, it's one of those when you are through one-on-one in FIFA, it's always hard to make that decision, of course. Typically, a cross goal is what works in FIFA 21, and that's what most players will know. Of course, you make that movement, but then it's sort of trying to read into the mind. That's why moving your keeper is sometimes a bit of a coin flip. Players sometimes wait for it. Yeah. Horney, in that case, didn't have the time to wait for it. Had to just go across goal, and unfortunately, not working out this time.
I mean, we've seen it a couple of times today, haven't we? Where you know, it's paid off, and sometimes it hasn't. But yeah, cross goal is maybe something I would have liked to have seen there. But again, playing devil's advocate, you've got R9. you're kind of expecting him to tuck those away. So I don't blame him, you know, going for goal in that situation.
Yeah, always a good opportunity to score. Now they're getting ready to get into the second leg, of course. Tekkz 4-0 to the good, and will, of course, have his other finalist pairing potentially already coming up. We've already seen that game. His went underway and obviously finished completely, so we will be seeing 2 grand finalists very, very shortly, but still 1 leg of FIFA left to play on the Xbox side of things. Interested to see how the PS4 game goes down as well. That'll be very, very interesting, so still plenty of action to come up here. Hopefully we are nearly ready to get into that second game very, very shortly. But as I said at the top of the show, it's just been nice to be in an actual physical environment that isn't my bedroom. The lighting is much better in here, I would say.
Yeah, as a few more, you know, camera and broadcast equipment, you know, some decent shirts in the background as well. You know, some decent football memorabilia. But I'm hearing an interesting fact in our ears, Chris. You want to share with the audience?
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to see this, but Mortal was actually 5-0 down. A 195 overall, I think. That is...
Just bear in mind, Horney 118 is only 4 goals down. So all you have to do is look at that other semi-final. Yeah, sure, mate, Tekkz probably a bit more of a difficult mountain to overcome, but that's FIFA. It can happen.
It can.
From 5-0 down to 9-5 up. It's I don't want to use the word fairy tale, but it's getting pretty close to that.
Yeah, it's one of those that you really don't expect to happen. I mean, for me, if I'm like 3-0 down and I come back on a weekend league game, I'm sometimes like, okay, well, that's quite the effort. But once again, back into this one. It is now going to be left to right in the orange from Tekkz. And of course, Horney from right to left in the blue of Liverpool. Is it blue? Is it turquoise? Is it green?
I'd
way
go with turquoise.
Turquoise, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? There's another specific word for that kind of
Seafoam.
Seafoam? We're really going down a different kind of route here. We'll not maybe get into colours too much. Maybe FIFA that we should be concentrating on. I'm the one that took us down that route though, Harry. I do apologise.
If anyone has worked in, paint. Or,
worked in paint.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to name the brand, but you know the one. You can get the custom colours, can't
Elephant's breath, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
If you could just go for the the eyedropper, the colour picker, and just tell us exactly what it is, that'd be great. So I'm curious now. You've got the
that's the thing.
Spinning in my head.
Maybe they do sort of sample that sort of colour. There'd be some for orange as well. That would be a ridiculous name. Nonetheless. Irrelevant of that. Yeah, we went far too far down it. Anyway, here we go though. Tekkz on the attack immediately. Adama down this left-hand side. Jones now. 2-on-9. You feel as if another one would maybe seal this, if it isn't already yet. Signed and sealed. Bruno Fernandes though. Fantastic work with the directional bridge and the fake shot stop, of course. Another one that is so effective in FIFA 21. Can't get it done that time though, Harry.
Good defending from Horney. He's going to have to be at the top of his game at the back. Obviously, you can't afford to concede more goals. I mean, scoring 4 against Tekkz just to force a golden goal situation is difficult enough. But obviously, then you have to be, as I said before, at the top of your game, peak concentration levels at the back to prevent scoring even more.
Zaha down this right. Has received a couple of informs and ultimately a headliner because of it. So. One to definitely keep an eye on. A little bit of a cheaper one to get a hold of than maybe a Cruyff and your R9s, of course. Very much a talented player in real life and, of course, in-game as well. But here we go. Maybe an opportunity here for Horney as Salah now going to get down this left-hand side. That first touch is not necessarily ideal, but the shot stop inside now to Bergwijn. Oh, it's a beautiful Kirkheader and it's a wonderful goal from Horney. My goodness me. Bergwijn reduces that deficit 4-1 now.
Yeah, no replay needed for Horney. He wants to get on with it. He knows there is a big job, a big task ahead of him. And can't afford to be dilly-dallying with the replays. Tekkz has a chance maybe for an instant response, but so far I've been impressed from Horney in this second leg. He's, as I said before, been decent at the back. Tekkz has had to be patient and just wait for his golden opportunity that he often seeks.
Zaha now. Pass inside to Fernandes. Rashford on the edge. Directional bridge once again. Even if it doesn't get past the player, it just gives you a little bit more room to play with, doesn't it? Not able to get anything going this time around. And I'll tell you what, a goal here from Horney would maybe make us question Tekkz directly through to this grand final. Still a lot of time to play. Still a lot of FIFA to play. All 9 down to Firmino and to his Liverpool teammate Curtis Jones, but eventually it finds its way to Cruyff. I really like that on the edge of the box as well. Great Berbatman can't quite find his way through. Pope will drop low and will pick up the ball, and still opportunities have come probably a little bit more frequently already in the second leg than they did in the first for Horney.
It certainly is shown that despite being 4-0 down after the first leg, there's no real knockout blow landed just yet for Tekkz. He's on the ropes, is Horney, but so far he's weathering the storm.
Fernandes R9, this usually results in one thing and one thing only, and that's usually a goal, and can't quite find his way through. Cruyff now to Jones. And Fernandes, look, he's just waiting for the little bit of room from Ronaldo, and It's the post from 10 yards out. That one will be cleared away from Horney, but it was so well worked. You just wait for that movement, which was so good. But Curtis Jones is tracked on down. I think Cruyff may well be offside. He was not.
Wow.
And that is now a corner. And what was a big opportunity for Tekkz.
Huge. And, well, you just sense maybe that someone's smiling down upon Horney on 1-8 here. Because often we see those, like you said, nestling in the back of the goal for Tekkz. Really nice skill once again, but so far, in the second leg at least, hasn't been able to break down this stubborn defence.
Not quite. Jones now to Fernandez, back to Fernandez. He's taking his time. You can see Horney sitting very defensively here, but he does need those goals, remember. So ultimately, he does need the ball, and Tekkz is, well, more than fine to keep a hold of it, but he will lose out. Now one opportunity for Horney to try and get something going again.
I think there's a chance here for Tekkz. I'll come back to my point, Chris.
Going to work out. Go back to your point, Harry.
I will. Tekkz just was a bit frustrated there, I think, based on how defensive and deep Horney was playing, and it's the latter that could maybe come forward with the ball, but just had to go backwards, did Tekkz, and we saw on the player cam, he just had to lean back a little bit. A bit of frustration maybe shining through from the two-time Liverpool Xbox champion in Tekkz.
Zaha down this right-hand side, the acceleration, solid. It's the run of Curtis Jones that was being watched, but also being watched by Horney now inside. Ronaldo scoop turn usually results in something, not quite able to make it through. Fernandez now, and he will also fault João Cancelo, who defended that well. Now Zaha, short corner to him. And just we're back to Zaha. Drag back, not necessarily working out that time around, and Tekkz will be frustrated to be 1-0 down here in the second leg. It's been mostly possession from him, but the one chance that did come to Horney, he very much will took.
Yeah, just got to keep your head here, I think. If you Tekkz, realise the situation. I mean, 4-1 up on aggregate. Is it likely you're going to ship 3 goals in this second half? I mean, maybe as Horney chases the game and throws more bodies forward, but then that's always going to give you a bit of an opportunity yourself to snatch another one back and make the whole situation even more difficult on your adversary. So just got to realise, and no doubt he will in this kind of situation. Yeah, you want to be scoring 9, 10 every single game, but this is a semi-final. This is the Xbox semi-final, of course, so there's going to be no pushover over 2 legs. 4-1 up, use your experience here, and well, stop giving the ball away a bit cheaply.
You can see those fullbacks of the 5-back coming into play here, making their way forward. Necessarily working out this time round for Horney, but still he has the ball, which is a better position to be in than the 26% possession that he had in the first half. Cruyff now trying to wriggle through. Can't find that little gap quite yet, but Ronaldo not going to make his way through that. And all of a sudden the counter-attacking opportunity now comes down to Tekkz. R9 now. Then we'll cut this back and just take his time. Build once again here for Tekkz.
Yeah, really patient and mature play there from Tekkz, and he actually has Traore in here as well.
Traore tries to find Cruyff. It was the obvious pass, the only option, but had to try it nonetheless. Maybe a counter-attacking opportunity here for Horney. Not quite going to happen. Adamo will get in the way, and Reece James will spread this wide to Cancelo.
It's really opened up in this second half since the half resumed. I mean, obviously we know at this point, Horney, he has to be chasing the ball, chasing goals, because the aggregate scoreline doesn't help him out whatsoever. But on the other side, it's good to see Tekkz still coming forward. Oftentimes players will just try and keep the ball and play possession. Yeah, Tekkz happy to recycle the attacks here and there, but it doesn't mean he's not going to go for the ball, even in aggressive defensive situations like that.
It's all manual, that as well. R9 now. Can't quite break through. Very strong defending from Horney there, and Tekkz will pause maybe just to...
Is that a bit of BM?
Possibly. It's 4-4-2 on both sides of things. 4-4-2-2, second iteration being used by Horney. I think that's just one of those that it offers that more defensive side of things to the 4-4-2. It's the 4-4-2 I prefer to use myself as well. I'm not saying I'm a defensive player, just I maybe need all the help I can get, Harry.
All those 2 CDMs, right?
It just offers you more instructions that are better on the defensive side of things. All right, look, it's not as bad as the 5-back that I occasionally play if somebody else does.
You said to me you play 5-3-2.
I do not do any such thing. It's a good through ball to Cruyff. I never do play a 5-back. I just would like to get this in.
5-2-1-2.
It is, yeah. It's more attacking. I play 7 depth. I don't have anybody on drop back in between defenders or stay back, okay? We play a 5-back, but we play correctly.
Is there a correct way?
Who knows? Certain FIFA commentators would disagree. Tekkz now trying to get another one on the board. Really is being made to work for this one, though, in the second leg. I think if you're on the side of Horney here, you're waiting for another opportune moment, but the time to wait is dwindling. Rashford now will cut this one back. Knows he can just take his time with his attack. Stepping inside. Fernandes, the cancel, the shot stop to Rashford. To R9 now as well. Just waiting for the moment. You can see he's waiting for the run to come through, but good defending once again by Horney. Opportunity now to counter-attack, but we can see Tekkz now looking to maybe show the game up, isn't committing as many men forward.
Yeah, again, that's recognising the situation, isn't it? I mean, time is ticking down here. And it's ticking against Horney 118. I feel his Liverpool ePremier League journey ends here in the semi-finals. He's given it a good go, but he should start scoring goals soon.
Oh, opportunity to do so. It's the reverse elastico, can't quite find its way through. It's one of those, it has to be the right angle. It's only an acute angle change, but it really can catch some players off. Somebody it's likely to not catch off is Tekkz in that. There's a good directional bridge. Rashford will get through. He has men over here as well. Can take his time with the pass, which hasn't quite come yet. And maybe it should have. Rashford can't find a way through for Tekkz. And he's played it out. 76 minutes gone.
Yeah, it just didn't seem too committed to that attack whatsoever, did Tekkz. I mean, yeah, it would be great if you could score a goal, but I mean, it seemed to me like he was just playing for possession and just waiting for maybe a diamond chance to come through, but instead, well, now it's Horney 118 coming forward.
It's very much the trademark of a good pro, where you'll sometimes see these stats be pushed up, where players who've played up against the pros like, oh, they've only had 4 shots and they beat me 4-1 or after I've had 10. It's like they don't take those opportunities unless they know they're going to come. And very much Tekkz is one of those players who he will not pull the trigger on a pass or a shot that he doesn't think has got a 99% chance of going in. R9 now. Look for the pass across. It's the run of Bruno Fernandes. That's going to be covered by Van Dijk, but it's the double tap pass and the little pass inside to Rashford. That may well seal the deal in this game. Marcus Rashford will tie things up in the leg, but it is going to be a 5-1 lead for Tekkz. That should see him through to that Xbox final.
For sure, done and dusted now.
Yeah.
Might even be a chance for more, but through ball is a little too powerful. But all the Tekkz fans around the world watching to see if he can make it the three-peat as the Liverpool Xbox champion. Big smile on their faces right now.
Oh, Cruyff inside. It's a hard one to take. Facing away from goal. If you're on in now, you're really in a tough spot, aren't you? Ball through to Cruyff. Oh, it may actually bounce through for him, but Reece James is there. Both very evenly matched squads as well. You can't necessarily say that Tekkz is significantly better, but the result, not quite. Going to go his way in that instance, but nonetheless, the 5-1 lead, the 5-1 win for Tekkz will see him in another grand final to represent Liverpool on the biggest of stages in FIFA. The clap coming through for Horney, very much a deserved win for Tekkz. Respect all around from both these two players, and once again, a valiant performance from Tekkz, and once again, another competitor who falls to the wayside.
Yeah, that 1-1 head-to-head score between the two is now obviously tipped the scales in favour of Tekkz after that convincing semi-final win. It was, like you said, really well played from Tekkz. It's always difficult to beat him. I think he might be a little bit frustrated, Tekkz, in the fact that he didn't maybe score more goals, but he got the job done in the semi-final. That's what he's here to do. But you could just sense a little bit of frustration here or there, especially in the first leg when, we saw very defensive gameplay from Horney.
I think that's just Tekkz. So we can always see his emotion. We can see how he's feeling in the game, and usually it's a sign of frustration. And I think that's just because he holds himself to such a high standard. Well, of course, isn't he? And as a perfectionist, you would maybe expect R9 to bury that one. Not necessarily going to work out that time round, but big opportunity here. Of course, that did fall into it to Bruno Fernandes. It's that double tap pass that does make the difference there, and of course, Rashford always going to bury that. Couldn't quite seal it at 6. Shot from Cruyff, not necessarily enough to get going. The first leg, definitely a lot more entertaining than the second, but nonetheless, Tekkz just did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, I don't think we're really surprised by the result. I must say, Horney did well in terms of showing us that he could conjure up certain opportunities. Again, majority of the possession, the majority of the territory in Tekksz's favour, but we did see some chances from Horney. He only scored the 1 goal, of course, but there were a couple of glimmers of hope towards the end of the first leg when you think about some of the skill moves he was pulling off in the middle of the park. I think he'll be disappointed, obviously, that he fell as far as he did. You're playing against one of the best players in the world. I mean, just look at that performance from Tekkz.
Yeah, just so solid from him. And honestly, I think, when you look at Horney's chances that he did have, he definitely could have scored 2 or 3 more. But then at the same time, you can always say that Tekkz definitely could have done the same. The opportunities were there. But very much the deserved winner does go on through, and we have an Xbox final, we have a PlayStation final now. We're very, very close to finding the representatives for Liverpool FC, of course, in the ePremier League. Where's your money going, Harry? You're not allowed to bet, and I don't think you can. But no, if it would go anywhere.
What, across all the ePremier League clubs, or are we talking here?
Yeah, specific. I'm in the here and now, Harry.
Right, the here and now. I'm not too sure, I think we have 2 really good finals ahead. I know this is me sitting on the fence, but I was particularly, pleased with how we saw Yago play earlier. Mm-hmm. I think he has a real chance, but then, of course, his opponent played really, really well in that game as well. And then we have Tekkz, who we just saw, has to go up against a guy who scored 9 after being 5-0 down. 2 perfect finals for me. I just can't wait to get them underway.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to get attacking football nonetheless. So, I mean, that's always a positive thing. We know that FIFA 21, when played in an attacking way, it can really be a fantastic game to watch. And hopefully we do get to see 2 very, very attacking teams. Of course, we have mentioned that teams sometimes, or players specifically, can play defensive against the Tekkz. And it's that factor, though. You're coming in against a big now, even somebody with a ridiculous team. You go in and think, I might have to be careful here.
Yeah.
As mentioned, and this is even remotely a flex for me, it happens to me. So, I mean, could you imagine it happening to somebody like Tekkz week in, week out in these big competitions?
I must say, we haven't seen too much defensive gameplay so far. I mean, only really from Horney 118 from that previous game. But most of the time, we haven't seen too much of the 5 at the back today. I've been quite pleased. We've seen a lot of fullbacks.
We've seen a couple of it, but it hasn't necessarily been played so defensively. It's when you've seen how deep they can drop with that.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes more frustration. But, I mean, look, somebody who isn't going to be frustrated will be Tekkz, who does advance on to that Xbox final. But, of course, we do still have the formalities to go through before we get to both of those. But, of course, the guys on the desk there, what did we think of that game? Fantastic performance from Tekkz once again.
Yeah, it's kind of going with form where Tekkz is concerned. He's just continuing to do what he does. We've been watching the virtual video printer in here as well at the other semi-final also, because it was quite an exciting game.
Yeah.
Watching the scores coming in.
It was an exciting game. Obviously, you guys at home were watching a lot of the Tekkz game, but on the other side of the semi-finals, there was a really exciting game going on between Gavin Wong and Morto LFC. Pete, we can't actually believe what we were hearing there. Unfortunately, we weren't even lucky enough to get to watch the game, but Gavin Wong in the first leg was 5-0 up. Then Morto LFC managed to pull back 4 more goals, so it took it to 5-4 to Gavin Wong in leg 1. And then go on, tell everyone what happened in leg 2.
I'm trying to follow the numbers
the narrative.
as they happen
There's so
here.
many.
So yeah, 5-0 up. Then he got it back to 5-4, and then it was 5-0. He won the last game to eventually win it
9-5.
9-5 on aggregate.
Can you imagine in leg 1, you're 5-0 down first, if you're Morto LFC. Then you get 4 back. I want to know the mentality here. And then leg 2, you obviously have a reset between, don't you? Leg 1 and leg 2, and you go, right, what have I got to do? I've got to go and find something, pull it out the bag. And he did 5-0 over Gavin Wong to take 9-5, like we said. But can't wait to hear what he has to say about that match.
Mental resilience is what it shouts out, doesn't it? If you're Tekkz, are you looking at that now, or are you just supremely confident of just doing what you do, or are you looking at this kind of unknown quantity thinking this could be a real danger to me here in the final?
I don't know, but I think the guys are ready, so let's ask them. Okay, we have Tekkz and we have Morto LFC, I think, standing by right now. Here they are, guys. I mean, I'm going to go to you first. Morto LFC, what a comeback. Need I say any more? How on earth did you do it?
I'm shocked, as you, to be honest. 5-0 down in 30 minutes, and my head was half gone. I was just like, well, as long as we can get a few back, we'll just see what's happening like. And then must have all went my way.
I just wonder, with all of the Liverpool games that you've watched where your head would be half gone, as you put it there before, I wonder whether that plays a part in this as a Liverpool fan. You've been down in so many games as a supporter before. Does that give you that little bit of, I don't know, adopted resilience, a little bit of inspiration that you can come back and do what you did in the end?
Well, yeah, there's always room for belief in whatever score it is. So it's just about trying to, push for a couple of goals and just see where it takes you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Morto LFC now, how much kind of mental resolve, resilience, whatever we're going to call it, do you need now that you're going up against Tekkz?
Oh, loads. I mean, everyone knows it's Tekkz is a massive underdog, so I'm just going to try and play my game, be as solid as possible, and just see if I can ride me luck and get a win.
Tekkz is watching on as well. Tekkz, congratulations to you. It was typically very patient from you. It was typically very fluent and clinical as well. What do you think of your opponent for this one tonight? A little bit of an unknown quantity, but clearly represents some danger. Scored a lot of goals in that game.
No, he's a dangerous player, to be fair. We played earlier, and it was like 2-2 in the 60th minute of the second leg, but then I managed to put away and get a couple of goals. He's a dangerous player, so it's not easy at all. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, well, we know what kind of player you are, Tekkz. Obviously, you've represented Liverpool now for the past 2 seasons. Your chance to make it 3 in a row. What is the best thing about being a Liverpool FIFA player, if you can pick just one?
Obviously representing them at ePremier League. Obviously, like, I want to play for Liverpool in the real world of football, but I'm a bit dead, so I can't. So we come to FIFA and I get to represent them. But I like going up against like other ePremier League clubs and stuff. So yeah.
Just one final one, Tekkz, before we go to a break, because, in the real world, it's difficult as well, isn't it? Teams that have won the championship then to go on to retain it, which you achieved, of course, last year, and you're going for the 3rd in succession. Does that bring with it its own pressure? You expect it of yourself, but everybody else expects you to just breeze through this tournament this year again.
No, that's the thing. Everyone expects you to win, so if you don't win, it's like an embarrassment. So say I play, I don't know, in an actual Foot Champs Cup and I'm playing like rank 3 in the world, it's not embarrassing if you lose. But in this ePremier League like playoff thing, obviously I'm expected to win. Like, I'm a heavy favourite, so if I lose, it's just a bit embarrassing. So I actually get more nervous for stuff like this than I do big tournaments.
Yeah, we know how much Liverpool means to you. And what a big fan you are of the club. So, guys...
It's a derby, though, Rach, isn't it?
It is.
Both massive Liverpool fans.
We're going to leave you to have a little bit of a rest because it is the PS4 final coming up before you guys. So, go and do your thing and we'll speak to you a little bit later. But congratulations on making the final, both of you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Lights are going off now. They just have a little bit of recovery time. They'll all do their own different things, won't they? But you can just imagine, can't you, what's going through the big challenge his head there. Can he do the impossible?
Well, he said that, didn't he? Kind of, sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing. I don't think it's embarrassing at all, but let's have a look then at how these guys got here. There we go. Tekkz, they're defeating Horney 118, 5-1 in the end, Pete. And then the second one, We know the narrative behind that one, don't we? Gavin Wong versus Morto LFC. 9-5, but that really doesn't tell the entire story. But we do now know our finalists, Tekkz and Morto LFC. Two massive Liverpool fans, like you said. One of them can go home, a Liverpool FIFA player tonight. I mean, that is, in my opinion, the game to watch, because those two are such massive fans of the club.
They're just both carrying different pressures now, aren't they?
Absolutely.
All his mates will be switching on now, Morto asking how he's getting on, and all of a sudden he's playing Tekkz in the final. And like Tekkz said himself before, that the pressure of just being the favourite, isn't it? The pressure that you will just go through and you won't be challenged along the way. He thinks he's going to be challenged in that final, I think.
Yeah, I think so. If someone's scoring 9 goals, and I think in one of the first round matchups he's got 11 goals, so he's got these goal-scoring capability, which is exactly what you need to go all the way in a competition like this. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, what's going on behind you, Pete?
I'm not sure. I'm too excited. Well, they're turning the lights out. I think they've had enough where that is concerned. So let's take that hint, shall we? And go to a break. And we have 2 massive games to come for you the other side of that. We're back soon. And welcome back to the ePremier League playoff. This, of course, for 2 chances to become official Liverpool players where FIFA is concerned for this year, going on, of course, then to the grand final. We've had a pretty dramatic night, haven't we, so far, Rachel? They turned the lights back on at Anfield as well, you'd be pleased to know. Should we confirm how this road to the final has gone, Rach?
Yeah, let's. So this is the PS4 side of things, which we're going to kick off with a final in a few minutes' time. But as you can see there, Sting Racing beating Red 8 Lab 5-3. He's into the final. And then Crew Yago, David Murray, doesn't tell the entire story there. It was 4-4, wasn't it, after the 90 minutes? And then they had to go to golden goal, which Crew Yago did in pretty epic fashion. It was nearly David Murray's kind of glory, but then he kind of, took a chance when the chances came to him, and Crew Yago was the one that snatched it right there to make his way into the final. Can't wait for this one, Pete, because we're going to have a new representative for Liverpool on the PS4 side of things.
That's the big title, isn't it? Sting Racing barely broke sweat, but as you mentioned there, Crew Yago really pushed his luck. And he's lost 2 big finals before, so how will that play a part in this one tonight? Shall we find out?
Shall we? Let's
get to Chris and Harry, who will talk you through it.
Thank you very much, guys. Excited to get into the PlayStation side of things for this grand final. It should be a really interesting one, Harry, to be honest with you. We've both seen close games on the other side of things. Well, relatively close at least. Anyway, Yago especially having to go through on golden goal. And then, of course, on the other side for Stingray, it was still a relatively close matchup in his game. So both expecting close games, are we here, Harry?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, all you have to do is look at the 2 games previous, like you said, golden goal, and then obviously 5-3 is it's not exactly a dominating scoreline, is it? So I'm hoping that we see a really close affair here. And obviously when you combine that with the stakes at hand, the chance to represent and put on the shirt of Liverpool Football Club, that's going to add so much pressure to both of these players playing, not only in this PlayStation 4 final, but then obviously the 2 players we have later on in the Xbox final as well. So I hope for a close game, and I think when you consider all of those things, the previous results, the implications of these 2 legs of FIFA, potentially obviously golden goal coming into play as well, we could see a melting pot of excitement here in the PS4 finals.
Well, here we go, the Yago against Sting Racing. And this really should be a fantastic game, both very much well-versed in the FIFA community, well-versed in knowing what it takes to perform at the top level. Who's going to be coming out on top of this one, though, Harry? I do wonder.
So do I. Obviously, Stingray from left to right. I'll go the other way. And both these players like to play, fast build-up, quick first-time passing. I'm expecting to see that out of both of these men. Again, fighting to win this grand final.
It's going to be first time around Yago. The first significant attack. Rashford now. LTL outside of the box, waiting for the pass inside. Well defended, although Saint-Maximin will get a hold of it. De Bruyne in the box. It's one of those that you would question. You would question in normal games, and not going to work out this time around, but it's a big ball forward from Stingray. I think proper wet. Both having opportunities early on, although you would have to say the legitimate one came for Yago first.
Yeah, you certainly would have to say that. And I think, again, it's one of those chances in the opening 10 minutes that you really want to just set the pace for the rest of the game and really put Stingray on the back foot and just tell him, look, this is my final. I'm here to make sure that I represent Liverpool after these 2 legs.
Oh, De Bruyne here, though. Playing that the calm kind of role, isn't he, for the side of Yago, and rightfully so, that team of the air, which I'm presuming at this point that it is after we've seen some of the goals it has scored. And of course, such a threat. Saint-Maximin trying to find the pass in the header. Of course, Manuel not able to find its way through. Stingray will survive this one. Yago has started the stronger, though.
He certainly has. He has to worry about Stingray's attacking threat, though. So far, it's been nullified. And now maybe Yago can put to the sword his opponent after that mistake. A bit disappointing, though, in the final third. We'd like to see him maybe conjure up a bit more quality there, but we haven't really seen Stingray come forward so far in this PS4 final. Yes, it's only 15 in-game minutes, just over gone. But you really want to see him just reply to these early jabs from Yago with a few jabs of his own, but so far he's been, I don't want to say on the ropes, but he's been rocked a couple of times.
Pressure has definitely been there from Yago more, you would say. Absolutely. But these two won a piece against each other recently. So very much expecting a close game here as well. Oh, the ball's going to be given away here though. Yago, Saint-Maximin in the box. Now to De Bruyne, back to Saint-Maximin. Oh, maybe just the wrong way, not necessarily what Yago wanted to do there. Stingray will get this one away. Rashford, down right hand side, does the fullback making his way forward. That's going to be Cancelo. Saint-Maximin, the run's there, well covered by Adama Traore.
Good defence has been put up from both sides. Like you said, Yago probably not what he intended to do there.
Oh, Bruno Fernandes isn't going to break through. Is this ball going to fall? Kindly it is, but not in time. Pele to Saint-Maximin. It's closed down. Is it cleared? Is it cleared? Oh, it's absolutely tragic. On the side of Yago, the Stingray is even apologising for that one, but you take those all day long. 1-0 to Stingray.
He looked like a deer in headlights, Stingray. He didn't know how that ball was still in play for his Saint-Maximin to come through and eventually finish it off. But he draws first blood. You could argue against the run of play so far here in the PS4 final.
It's early on, but you would absolutely say Yago has maybe had more of the ball, more attacking opportunities, and maybe another one will present itself here. Saint-Maximin can't quite wriggle through. But you have to say Stingray is just going to want to take his opportunities when he can, and it happens. It happens in real football. It happens in FIFA. These opportunities sometimes you wouldn't expect to represent themselves in such forms. Going to find their way through, but a good opportunity here for Yago now. Saint-Maximin, edge of the box, dangerous. Kyle Walker, a bit more dangerous. It's a good tackle. And it will be Stingray walking away with the ball.
Good closing down as well. He can maybe turn defence into attack here. Really nice deep through ball. He has a man in the middle here to aim for as well, should he decide to go for it. But this is the time of the game you really want to see the hallmarks of a champion from Yago. Yes, you're only one down. Yes, it's still the first half of the first leg, but you've been frustrated so far. You've got to keep your head in these types of situations. He said in the interview, it was a few hours ago now, didn't he, that this is FIFA, this is what can happen.
Oh, and that sort of thing can happen as well. The block on the line from the defender. Rashford, second time, smashes it in the front post. And they have to say it is deserved. Yago has well and truly been in this game the majority of the way through. And Rashford is always going to stick it past Pope there. A deserved goal comes through for the side of Yago. One apiece.
Yeah, one apiece, and that goal will do wonders to the mental side of things from Yago. As we were just saying, you want to see the hallmarks of a champion, how your concentration levels are and how you respond to a bit of adversity, because you're unlucky to find yourself 1-0 down in that type of situation. As you said, Rashford, the pure force on the shot from the left boot is enough to see it past Pope, and it's as you were.
Now on to Rashford again. This side on the side of Stingray, not able to get anything going, and this will potentially be a break coming in here from Yago. It's a long ball out towards Aubameyang. You've got a feeling that Walker will get there. A literal right back on full chem playing in centre back. Never ideal. Never ideal to come up against. Yago can't get anything going down this left hand side. Been a very, very tight affair so far. 42 minutes gone. 4 in the back coming through from Stingray. It's a 4-1-2-1-2, which is something that is said to break down these 5 backs. And if you look at the other side of things, it's going to be a 4-3-2-1, technically, with the wide players coming through from Yago. We're seeing different formations come out. Both these players playing very, very different styles of FIFA.
Yeah, you can see the width being favoured out of Yago from that situation and those formations. Half-time approaching them. I wonder just how much these tactics might change as we go into the half and look towards not only the second half, but obviously the second leg still to come. Do you stick? Do you twist? Do you change anything up to try and find more success around the pitch? We'll see.
Oh, good clip ball through to Pele. The touch is not quite there, and Stingray in the top right corner.
He's animated, isn't he?
He is. And after the first half, it will, of course, be one apiece. A very, very close game so far. There's your ePremier League winner from last year. Tom, of course, winning it for Watford. He's He's looking to get himself a spot to do something here, I believe. He's representing your team, Harry.
I hope so. I think Spurs would love to have a former champion on their books, but still has yet to be decided, I think, isn't it?
I think so. I think there's still time, but very much one of the favourites, you would imagine. Aubameyang's going to break through here, though. This is a good opportunity for Yago, and not going to get through. Stingray, well defended. That pass across is always an option, but you've got to be able to manually defend that one. You can't let your defenders do it for you. You need to make sure you're covering it. Well done there to Stingray, making sure the passes that were more likely were covered. Good ball out, though. Yeah, Turney getting down the left-hand side. Can't quite get far enough. A counter-attacking opportunity for Yago. Yeah, can't quite get that one through. De Bruyne, that run a little bit early.
Yeah, I also wonder if the ball had found its way through, whether or not the linesman would have kept his flag down. But this is the exact type of match we were expecting between these two. When you looked at the score lines from the semi-finals, 5-4 and 5-3, it's as tight as you like so far in the first leg.
Cancelo with Rashford now forward. Back to Jones, just building here from Stingray's first really big moment of possession. Fernandes and Son. Oh, he tried to find the fullback. Couldn't quite get it there. Cancelo will now have to track back, and this is what happens when you send your fullbacks forward. You have the opportunity to be counter-attacked. De Bruyne, as the defence comes through, it's a really good ball through to Rashford. Oh, it's so composed from Yago. And it's a counter-attacking goal that you will concede every time you play FIFA. Every time you sit down, those goals will come. And it's just so well dispatched by Yago. Look, the composure takes his time. And normal 85 Rashford will always score in that open net.
It's exactly like you said. When you push those fullbacks up, all it takes, I think I counted 3 passes into the back of the net. As soon as you exploit that weakness, you just have to play so direct and just play fearless with your passes. It's exactly what Yago did then. I think Stingray will feel a little aggrieved, but ultimately that's the risk you play. It's the dice roll. If you don't get any kind of opportunity to go your way once you push those fullbacks up, it can leave you so exposed.
Stingray trying to get back into this game now. Of course, 2 legs is what we'll play this over, so still some time to go yet. Pele, edge of the box, can't squeeze his way through. Reece James, just such a hard one to get past as well, but Pele's going to put a good ball through to Saint-Maximin. This is surely 2 apiece. Well worked, patient from the side of Stingray. Expecting the shot to come out of Saint-Maximin. It's the fake shot, stop the ball across Pele, always burying it there, 2-2.
Yeah, I had acres of space to run into the eventual goal scorer. And there he is, and well, 2-2. It's back and forth, back and forth. Of course, we're still only in the first leg, but you couldn't really pick a winner at this point. It's tough to say. I'm trying to think. Obviously, we had early spells of domination from Yago in the first half of this first leg, but still so much FIFA to be played.
Very much so is the case. Yago now trying to find a way through forward and cannot. Rashford looking for through ball towards Pele. We know how dangerous those through balls really can be on FIFA 21. Saint-Maximin now. Player switch up. Pele. Not necessarily benefiting too much from that one, but it's another good ball through to Pele. Adama's been sat down. Pele cancelling. Good work here by Stingray. A big opportunity knocking on the door. Son now back to Saint-Maximin, or try to at least anyway. Couldn't find anything. Yago now with an opportunity to potentially counter-attack, and that's a big interception from João Cancelo. Jones now sends it forward to Heung-min Son. Can go either foot. Fofana will just about get there. The counter-attacking opportunity once again for Yago. It's going to be Rashford down this left-hand side. Directional bridge inside now. Saint-Maximin back to Rashford. To Firmino. Across goal or not. It will be the front post from Yago. These counter-attacking opportunities are fluid and they're dangerous every single time. 3-2 now.
That was a very, very intense passage of play from both men. From one end to the next. Potential for Stingray to maybe get a strike away, and then Yago takes it up the other end. The counter-attack, as you said, has been really fruitful here for Yago. And you wonder if Stingray has the adjustments available to him to maybe prevent this type of thing happening, because he's getting exploited. And it's working out for his adversary here. 3-2 now.
Yep. Freeze Firmino can really do it all. That was an expensive SBC. My club is empty. My club is empty.
Press F to pay respects.
My club was empty until the most recent one, that mid-prime pick one. Oh, that was an interesting week. We've seen a lot of commitment from you guys at home and, well, commentators as well in terms of what they've been putting into that one. Here we go, though. An opportunity now for Stingray to try and break through. Ooh. It's one of those you've seen given.
Referee. Is this what VAR is for?
Ball is pumped forward for Yago now. Hoping to work out, and Stingray now can try and get something going. And Fernandez now to Jones. And Son out wide. Maybe another opportunity is going to find its way through here for Stingray. Saint-Maximin back to Jones. Intercepted by Jones, and all of a sudden Yago can counter-attack again. He's just leaving men forward and defending well with what he has left.
Great tackle. Great tackle from Bruno Fernandes. To be done, just get the ball out of play, maybe relieve a bit of pressure on the back line. He comes forward again. It's another tremendous tackle, had to be made.
Had to be. That directional bridge was locked in there. Didn't work out, but the defender had to make sure he got in front of that ball, though. You're squeezing all the way through if you're Yago. Now the opportunity for Stingray to build an attack once again. 85 minutes gone, I should say. Stingray trying to even this one up and will not be able to find his way through here. Jones now inside to Kevin De Bruyne. This man out wide on the right. That's the ball. Aubameyang. He feels as if another goal here for Yago would be crucial. Firmino again! Oh. Off the post and wide and out for a goal kick. That's another big opportunity. That's not necessarily one begging for Yago, but we may well be looking at that one towards the end of the game and said that could have been it to potentially seal it. Now an opportunity for Stingray in the 91st. Pellet back to Son, a goal back here to level things up, heading into the second leg. Will not come to fruition there. Corner, short one. Saint-Maximin across now to Pellet, cannot get it going, and this one will be cleared away, and that will be it for leg number one. Yago will take a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, but it could have been more, couldn't it? That last chance that just shook the frame of the goal. So tough to see that one not go in for Yago. Again, you're just kind of hoping that it doesn't play on his mind too much, because obviously, again, you go 4-2 up, you have a 2-goal cushion to take into the second leg, Chris. It's looking, pretty darn fruity, especially when you look at the goal you conceded to go 1-0 down.
Yeah, that's a stinger. It's one of those where one of the players just gets caught on the ball in an animation while he's on the floor, etc. It's nothing you can do. Lands back at Saint-Maximin's feet, and then even then Pope maybe it's not far away from his right foot, and he doesn't move it out, he moves it forward. Anyway, nonetheless, Yago did get back into it. Ball across here, you argue that could have resulted in a goal, and they did eventually. Rashford at the front post. Good left-footed strike.
Great footwork shown from him as well, just to navigate into that kind of opportunity from Yago. And this is exactly the type of game we expected to see, just going back and forth. It was almost like a tennis rally at points. From attack to counter-attack to counter-attack. It was so back and forth.
And that was a really good ball through to Rashford once again, who has been one of the main outlets on the counter-attack for Yago here. Of course, finding that second goal with the ball roll around the keeper. Stingray was not done. Baited the shot and hopes in no man's land, and Pellet will always bang that to the back of the net. To a piece. And then, of course, Yago finding his way back into the lead through a well-worked goal. Firmino, the step overs, shields him away. Just not fantastic defended by Stingray in that instance. He'd be maybe a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, I think he would be disappointed, and I think the important thing as we take a look at the final chance between the two of them, I think the important thing is, you are still within touching distance. You have another leg to play here. Yes, you need to go on the front foot. You need to get that goal back somewhere down the line. But it's just that one goal. We've seen what can happen in FIFA, and Yago especially is one of those players that if he doesn't get those chances to go his way, is his mental game there? We'll have to see if that type of thing continues to happen here in the second leg, like Roberto Firmino missing that final chance.
Yep.
Is his mental game still there? Does he have what it takes to close the deal and represent this club right here?
And I think if you're either one of these players, you probably don't change too much up in that scenario. It's a close game; it could have went either way. If you're Stingray, you say, "Okay, I was a little bit fortuitous with the goal that I found, but then I was counter-attacked so much. Maybe you do change something up if you are him in that scenario."
Yeah, I'm questioning actually whether or not you do change things, because when you look at
5 back,
that's actually what I was going to say, because when you look at how his fullbacks were playing, most of the counter-attacks were exploited in those wide areas. We saw Aubameyang on that right-hand side from
1-2-1-2 as
Yago.
well.
Yeah, it's about weighing up how much those attacking fullbacks really bring to your attacking gameplay. Do you have a plan B that you can maybe go to if you don't want to be as exposed at the back? Maybe not 5 at the back. We've done pretty well so far not seeing that.
We've seen a couple.
We've seen a couple here or there, but we want to see attacking gameplay here. So by all means, stay with the fullbacks going forward, but just be careful on those counters.
Yeah, you really do have to be, and I think that's where Stingray has to look to concentrate on his efforts. If you're Yago, you're having a lot of success with that. Do you continue to try and do that, or do you again switch it up a little bit there again and just sort of say to yourself, okay, well, we were expecting the counter-attacks this time. What is he going to expect this time? Of course, maybe try and play something maybe a bit more narrow. It's all these things that can go into it. You maybe really just say, if you're Yago, we won. We play exactly the same way. If you're Stingray, you say, right, it was close. We play exactly the same way. It could go either way.
Yeah, it could, and I actually expect to see that from both of these players here. I mean, again, you don't want to go away from what has been tried and tested for you so far in this, the most important game of the tournament for you so far. This is the second leg. This is the one that decides everything. Why would you want to risk a gamble that might not pay off? So why not, for the first half at least, stick with what's worked for you so far, and then maybe see, where you are at half time and whether or not you need to change some things up here or there, make a few tweaks.
I think it's spot on with that, as somebody who plays a lot himself, you don't change too much if it's relatively close, if you're having yourself chances. I think, for either one of those players, if they were in this situation where they weren't creating chances, that's when you've got to think to yourself, right, okay, well, we maybe need to change something up here. But in this instance, it has not completely been the case, for both these players. They have been creating chances on either side of the pitch. It's interesting to see if they do change something up. Hopefully, we're nearly ready to get into this one to find ourselves a PS4 winner. But, Harry, it's a difficult position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
I would argue that maybe if there was going to be a change, it wouldn't be from Yago's side. Purely because he must have been so happy with, the amount of chances he was creating. On Stingray's side, yeah, he got 2 goals, but how much of the ball did you really did you really hold in the middle of the pitch, and how many opportunities, I should say, to use correct English, were you able to really penetrate in terms of the defensive line from Yago? So, yeah, maybe I expect to see more changes from Stingray rather than the other way around.
It's a good opportunity for Yago immediately, though. He'd love nothing more than to find himself in the lead. Oh! That rub of the green that Stingray got in game number 1 has just fallen to the side of Yago. There maybe is an equalizer of how things have worked, but one of the defenders just with a bad touch, and then Stingray, you have to say, maybe it's kind of fair that Yago's found that opportunity this time around in the second leg.
Yeah, it's that.
Doesn't make it any easier.
It doesn't make it easier to stomach, but well, maybe that might invite a bit more attacking creativity out of the side of Stingray, because so far, after the first leg, as I said before, from open play, not too much penetration shown.
It's that final pass, isn't it? Struggling to get through this defensive Yago, which is regimented, but here we go. Pele now can't quite squeeze through. Jones will get this one away. Yago, we've seen how well those counter-attacks did work for him. He's going to have more opportunities to do that as well, considering he now has a 2-goal lead. Straight inside to Fernandez. A deep line here from Yago. Doesn't want to let anything slip here, Harry.
No, he certainly doesn't. And Stingray has a real chance here in the green.
Son now. Fernandez in. Get the ball back there as well. Saint-Maximin now. For the Elastico as well. It's a good pass to Son. Can't quite break through. FIFA 21, you need to beat that last defender. Majority of the time, you take a shot, there's a defender on the way, he's going to get to it. You have to take your time. You have to wait for the opportune moment. Didn't do so there, Stingray. Maybe could have waited a little bit longer. Attacking opportunity now for Yago. The counter-attack, he's finding himself with bodies free in all sorts of positions. Aubameyang's there, Pope is also... Ooh, must have been an offside call. The defender's nearly given it away for Stingray once again there, Harry.
He has. Living life very dangerously. But you need to, again, prove to your opponent here that you can conjure something up.
Oh, Stingray trying to break through the wing now. It's been mostly central from him. Saint-Maximin play this one back, and there's no free options in the middle. Yago very happy to sit on this lead. Rightfully so.
It's so compact in there, especially in the final third. It's difficult really for Stingray to find and find the key to unlock the back line.
Thing is, he wants to send more men forward, but the more he does that, the more likely he is to be counter-attacked. We've seen how fluid, how deadly Yago has been with that certain way to score. It's making things very, very difficult for Stingray to commit, but here's a good opportunity now. Aubameyang looking for the pass across, but Pope will come out well brought out there, has to be said. Stingray making the right decision and potentially an opportunity to counter-attack himself, and Reece James will get there. As time goes on though, Stingray will have to start sending men forward. It's only a 2-goal deficit. There's no point in throwing the kitchen sink at it. And in this scenario, there's still more than enough time to score 2 very, very normal goals.
Yeah, and you'll hear commentators say so often in FIFA, the more bodies you send forward, the more susceptible you are at the back.
It's hard to bear that.
Yes, indeed.
You expect that pass to at least be acceptable. Quite even on the possession front, Stingray with a little bit more, and that's just due to Yago now being in the lead and finding himself with an attacking opportunity here. Cancelo will whip this one into Firmino. Defender will get in the way, back across, and João Cancelo, not necessarily known for his heading prowess, stick that one wide.
Yeah, well, when you're looking at these two players throughout the qualification campaign, I mean, looking at their goal scoring form, I mean, Yago, over 100 more goals scored than his opponent Stingray here. Granted, he played more games, but still a mighty impressive stat. We've seen it so far be the same case here in the final after PlayStation 4, I mean 4-2. Stingray just needs to find a little bit of something out of somewhere. Just missing that cutting edge from him that we're so used to seeing in previous rounds. Just hasn't really come off for him so far here in this second leg.
Just not finding the pass, but it's good defending by Yago nearly every single time he's cutting those passing lanes, which is important to do. Time is slowly ticking down here for Stingray. Sticking down for Stingray was the line I was going for there, but maybe potentially an attacking opportunity here for Yago. Hope will receive the ball and just about clear this one away. That was maybe living a little bit dangerously, but potentially an opportunity here for Stingray to get something going. I tell you what, it's a good through ball as well to cut the defence in half. Pele surely makes it for 3. It will do. It's an emphatic finish. And it's that through ball. We've seen it in FIFA 21 multiple times. It can split a defence in 2. It does so this time. And Stingray is back into this game.
Well, there you go. It's that one through ball. And I feel for Yago because defensively so far,
there's nothing you can do about that at times.
It's been really solid, but like you say, nothing to be done unless you're watching the runner miles ahead of time. But that one certainly makes this second leg a lot more interesting as we approach half-time, and it actually begs the question now, do you make any changes at half-time? We were saying make it to half-time, see where you're at. Well, it's exactly the same situation as when you entered this second leg. So do you make those changes, or do you stick with the tried and tested?
Well, Stingray might actually take something away from this specifically. Pele can't quite break through. And that will be the end of the half. 4-3 now. Very much still Yago's game here, but Stingray knocking on the door, Harry.
Yeah, he's setting himself up, isn't he, for potential Cinderella story. And again, it's about how much that's playing on the mind of Yago. You've had decent chances across the two legs, but Stingrayson has stuck with you the whole time. He's proving a very resilient opponent. 45 in-game minutes to either put him down for good or shut up shop at the very least here for Yago.
45 minutes for both of these players to determine whether they will be representing Liverpool FC heading into those ePremier League finals, of course. Potential opportunity for Stingray here to kick things off in the second half. Not going to materialise. It would have been a half chance at best, but ball not quite being able to be squeezed through. Turn of Yago to maybe try and build something. We've seen a lot of good counter-attacking play, but I think if you're Yago here, you definitely want a goal or two more to solidify this one, and that pass from Roberto Firmino is not necessarily going to materialise in anything apart from an attack that you're going to have to defend. Saint-Maximin to Pele. Back to Saint-Maximin now. Will have to be played back to Bruno Fernandes, and Yago will be able to recuperate, get man behind the ball. But it is Stingray with the intent. Jones now can't get it away. De Bruyne is quick to close down. Rashford will get away on this left-hand side.
Quite see who it was on this near side for Stingray, but he had a fair bit of space, but the press coming in from Yago forces the mistake. And now a chance for the Argentinian, who's in the lead on aggregate, maybe to conjure up another chance.
Oh, is he onside? He is not. Aubameyang not able to beat the trap. 6 minutes gone. When does the time come for Stingray to really change something up? When is that magical minute where you think, right, let's start making a move? And when's that minute afterwards where thinking, right, it's desperate now, we need to send everything? Because they're going to start slowly approaching. He has had more of the ball. He has seemed a little bit more lively in the second leg than his opponent, but so far so good for Yago, still 4-3 to the go. Pele out to Saint-Maximin. It's a good ball out wide to Rashford. Dangerous position. Croqueta cancel into Fernandes now. And Jones to Saint-Maximin. Pele can't quite get there, facing in the wrong direction, and that's frustration for Stingray. Firmino will now get it away wide, and once again Yago looking to stretch the defence of Stingray now. Aubameyang pushing forward, can't quite find anything.
Yeah, good tackle there from Stingray on that far touchline. Just get the ball out of play, get some bodies back. We've seen how crucial Yago has been on the counters.
Can't quite get through with the Elastico. Saint-Maximin, and now this will be played out wide to Jones, and then looking for the run of Heung-min Son. Cancelo forward and to Son, get past inside to Jones, waiting for the run to Saint-Maximin. That's the one he's looking for. Pass back inside, Curtis Jones, Rashford, Pele, man over, back into Rashford. Stingray surely ties it up and does so. 2-1 in the leg, 4-4 in the final. And Stingray deservedly gets his goal here, Harry. 4-piece.
He was probing Yago, and he hasn't changed too much from what I've seen, so credit to him. He's stuck with the tried and tested. That's got him this far. This could be a very, very interesting final 20 in-game minutes. Are we destined to go to golden goal?
PlayStation is very much being closely contested all the way through. Is it going to be the same here in the grand final? It has been that way so far. Stingray was 4-2 down here, and well, could have potentially been down again there had Yago found the pass through. But it has felt more like it's leaning towards Stingray in this second leg here, Harry.
Yeah, you hate to use the word momentum, but it's certainly feeling stacked in one favour currently. Stingray is seeing much more of the ball than he did in the first leg, and is looking comfortable here dare I say. Yago steals the ball back, but hasn't really had too much to offer going forward so far.
Don't know if it's a change coming through from Stingray to stop that. Well, this time around, it's actually going to be Stingray on the attack. It's going to be Kieran Tierney on the outside. Ball in from James. It's put wide for a corner. Player's camera slightly far ahead because you know what's coming. Saint-Maximin now. Pass inside to Son. Well defended, Yago. Typical counter-attacking opportunity, but you see Stingray has those men back in wide positions now.
Yeah, it's helping him out so much in terms of, I mean, if it feels like he's about to be countered, he can just, again, stick that tackle in, get that ball out of play and reset that back line. And it's just forcing Yago to play a different type of way. He's identified so well here, Stingray, that's the majority of success from his opponent was coming from those counters in the first leg. He's made that adjustment. And now we're into the final 10 in-game minutes. Is there a winner?
Can we crown a winner here in normal time, or will we have to see golden goal? Jones now, ball through to Pele. Saint-Maximin, dangerous attack, and Reece James will just about get there, Harry. Yago really hasn't offered much at all in the second leg. And Stingray will continue to use that pressure. Jones now, waiting for the moment, and I think if you're both players here, you don't want to give the ball away to the other side. You don't want that final opportunity to present itself to the side, but then as I say that, Yago will get a hold of the ball, 86th minute. Firmino out wide, can't find the pass, both being so good defensively here.
Yeah, I don't want to use the word masterclass, but it's been pretty darn close from both sides. Yes, it's 4-4, there's been 8 goals across the 2 legs, but so far anyway, but defensively, you're right, it's been an absolute stand from both sides.
For Stingray here, keeping hold of the ball until he can formulate that final attack, so he can't be countered. 1 minute at a time, he's going to have to start moving. Rashford now. Down this left-hand side. It's got to be forward. It's got to be forward. Saint-Maximin. Forward to Pele. This is always dangerous. Directional bridge goes for the shot. Still inside, and the pass inside now from Son. My goodness me, it's Stingray at the death. Pele across, and Son comes screaming into the middle. And Stingray will be the representative for Liverpool on the PlayStation side. And he will represent them in the ePremier League finals.
And look at what it means. He cannot believe it. Once that final whistle was blown, head in hands. He's still, look, hands on his head. He still can't quite believe what he's seen. I thought the cameras were even frozen there for a second, but he is still moving. He's just in shock. He's in a state of disbelief, absolute shock.
I think Yago's is. I think he's gone after that. That's such a hard one to bear for him as well. But you have to say, Stingray played the better game in the second leg there, Harry. You really, really did.
It was those adjustments that he made, like you said. I mean, not sending those fullbacks forward, and even when he felt like his fullbacks were getting a little bit too far forward, get that ball out of play. It seemed like Yago had no real answer to it once those counter-attacks weren't made available to him. He actually got his 4th goal across the 2 legs from this, arguably a gift from Stingray's side. But to come back from this position, from 4-2 down to win 5-4, you could not ask for a more worthy champion.
Played fantastic. This one was one of those, it's just that through ball, and all of a sudden he will find himself in, and Pele will get this one done. And that's what sort of teed us up for that second half. Stingray was knocking. Finds this one as well, and it was just that man over that he had in the Rashford, and then all of a sudden the scoop, the shot is always solid. And then obviously to seal the deal in the very last minute of the game, the very last seconds, Pele with the shot, the block comes through, Son just peels off the defender a little bit and sticks that on the bottom right corner, Harry. And very much a deserved winner on the PlayStation side. It will be Stingray to represent Liverpool FC on the PlayStation, and a deserved winner it feels.
Yeah, if nothing else, I mean, applaud the resiliency shown there from Stingray. I mean, again, to come back from 4-2 in a PlayStation 4 final, it takes some serious cojones to come back, and he did just that. He exhibited the signs of a champion. He is the champion. Congratulations.
And you're going to say as well that, Yago, commiserations for him. He makes his way through all the way through the qualifying period, gets to that final 92nd minute of the second leg, and it's over just like that. I mean, that's FIFA. He said it himself that it really can be that way, Harry.
I've only 1 minute added on, obviously, because the ball still is in the final third, in an attacking phase, the play goes on, but the second minute of only 1 added on to go out like that, yeah, that'll sting. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, it really, really will. So Stingray will make it on through. What a performance from it. And as he said, the adjustments came through, didn't they, in that second game. He was being counter-attacked every single time in the first, and that's why we found himself behind. All of a sudden, Stingray makes those adjustments and can come back to the game there, Harry. And it just shows it's the hallmark of a good player.
It's what we were talking about, weren't we, in between the two legs? Who has that plan B? And I wouldn't even so much call it a plan B. It was more just him identifying what was going wrong for him in the first leg, and then just changing things up to make sure that the same thing didn't happen in the second, and from then on to exhibit that bit of class that we were missing from him in that first leg, especially in the final third. We commented on it, didn't we? He just needed that cutting edge. He seemed to find it at the most crucial clutch moment, and is crowned the champion.
Well, there you go. Stingray will be the champion on the PlayStation side for Liverpool. Pete, you said it's always dramatic at Liverpool. I mean, you're not wrong, really, are you?
Not at all. And actually, 20 years on from Liverpool winning the treble, we were talking about themes before, that there was a golden goal that settled the UEFA Cup final against Alaves. It actually finished 5-4 in that game as well. So there's another theme that's returned. But it's just all about resilience, isn't it? And how cool did Yago look all the way through the game? When it goes to 4-4, that's the first real sign you see of him being a little bit rattled and a little bit frustrated with his own performance then, and he ends up losing the game.
We said to each other, didn't we? We said, he looks like he's starting to sweat a little bit. 67 minutes, when it went 4-4, we kind of said, I think he could have just lost it mentally. In FIFA, it's such a mental game, isn't it? And that's why we do the two legs. It kind of gives people the chance to claw something back, if they're not quite having it all go their way in leg one, which Stingray wasn't. He was, 3-2 down there, but his possession was favouring him. So that's something that I'm, quite intrigued to hear from our PS4 champion, who is sitting behind us. Stingrayson, you looked like you couldn't quite believe what happened there. Me and Pete really enjoyed watching that. You are now going to be representing Liverpool on the PlayStation side of things. Just sum up what this means to you.
Honestly, I don't think words can kind of describe it. Being 4-2 down, I know that I have the support of so many people, family, friends, teammates, and that spurs me to go on. And that keeps me going and going and going. And yeah, honestly, I can't put into words how just ecstatic I am.
An incredible night for you. Take us back to the start, because you actually went 1-0 up in the game. We saw you hold your hands up to apologise for the goal, and it swung so many different ways after you took the lead in the match.
That goal, honestly, it sucks that can happen in a competitive game. Like, for me, that's just completely unlucky, and I can't help but say sorry, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, what was going through your head, Stingrayson, when you were 3-2 down in that first leg? The commentators here in the studio are saying, is he going to change anything? But possession was on your side. How did you kind of keep confidence, keep your cool, and think your game plan would work?
Well, to be fair, one of the things I checked Twitter, and I don't know why, but I just decided to quickly check Twitter, and seeing people message me saying, come on. It just made me, for some reason, it made my brain decide to finally click, and I finally figured out how Yago played and how to counter it, and yeah, I don't know why, but Twitter helped me, basically.
I love that, Pete. You're checking your Twitter stream as you're playing. But you had a question about who he was talking to, because we think he was talking to someone.
Yeah, before we get to that, how many new followers have you got tonight on the back of what you've just done? It's probably worth checking tomorrow morning again, but have the numbers crept up a little bit?
I haven't checked since I've done an interview, and hopefully you can never complain about a couple followers. You can never really be too upset. But yeah, and to answer the question, who I was talking to, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the time, I was talking to myself and singing, to be honest, because that just calms me down.
No, I was just intrigued about that as somebody that's new to this whole art form, if you like, as to whether, it is music. You talking to yourself, you've got a coach in your ear. I suppose everybody has a different methodology, don't they, as to what keeps them cool, which is exactly what you managed to do throughout the game against all the odds, so just stay calm.
I have a very special person who helps me through these things, and so seeing them message me as well, just quickly check you might sometimes see me check my phone, and that's always to see if I have a message from them, because when I get a message, then I click, then I just go 0 to 100 real quick, and that's kind of what flicks my mindset as well.
And I have a final question for you as well. Obviously, we saw you came so close to being an E-Lion, an England player. Has this made up for that disappointment, now representing Liverpool?
I mean, considering both goals to win/lose were, last kick it again scenarios, I think it kind of evens the balance up, and you can't really go better than being representing the champions of England. So yeah, it does make up.
And Stig Grayson, you're now part of that Liverpool family. I don't know whether we can pick up the trophy that will be winging its way to you. We'll put it first class and we'll wrap it in bubble wrap the lot to make sure that it's safe by the time it arrives to you. We wish you could have been at Anfield. We wish you could have got the applause for yourself. But on behalf of everybody here, congratulations. What a night for you.
Thank you.
Well done, pal. We're going to take a quick break here, and of course, when we come back, we're going to see Tekkz in action. We're going to see two Liverpool fans going head-to-head for the second title that we have up for grabs tonight. The Xbox Liverpool players, they go on to those grand finals. We'll have the result of that and all the action on the other side of this break. And welcome back. We have a brand new champion on the PlayStation 4 tonight. We got his surprised opinion on all of that and probably how it's going to change his life just a few minutes ago. Let's just confirm things for you then as we take a look at the bracket where Xbox is concerned as well, because this is the final and it's a derby race as well. Tekkz we know all about. Morto is a new name to most of us tonight. He's a massive Liverpool fan. Both of them will be feeling the pressure for different reasons now, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously Tekkz wants to keep that shirt firmly on his back. He's been a Liverpool representative for the Xbox on FIFA now for 2 years. Can he make it 3 in a row? And then Morto LFC, he's a massive Liverpool fan, like you just said. He wants this, surely. He scored 9 goals, didn't he, like we just saw there in his semi-final, and he was massively the underdog in that one. So clawed his way back to make it through to the final, but he knows who he's up against. We all know who he's up against, but anything can happen in FIFA, like we just saw.
Adrenaline gets you a lot of places, doesn't it? And as Rachel said there, Morto has scored a lot of goals along the way, so the added pressure of becoming Liverpool player for the 3rd year running, and of course facing that goal threat that he will do tonight as well. Looking forward to this one. I think Chris and Harry are ready for us.
Yes, we are, and I mean, look, what a final we got on our hands here as well. You know, we know the PS4 side, it was going to be good. It was very, very close. Both these two being free scoring throughout, Harry, and had a close game before. Everyone would kind of be putting their money on Tekkz. You would be putting the smart money on Tekkz, but Morto, he represents that unknown quantity that we have in this Xbox Grand Final.
It's all about upsetting the storyline, really, isn't it? I mean, we're all talking about Tekkz. We all know how good he is. He's won this, he's won that. He's on the brink of being a 3-time Liverpool representative, which in and of itself is absolutely incredible. I don't think there's any other player at any other ePremier League club off the top of my head that I know that's close to doing that. So I don't want to say history because I'm not 100% sure it is, but it's still an incredible achievement. You have a chance here just to, you know, maybe rain on the parade a little bit if you're Morto. Obviously, yes, it's Tekkz, but, I mean, you beat him here, you put your name well and truly on the globe of FIFA esports because you're the guy who takes down Tekkz.
Absolutely. And look, he's been beaten before. We know this as well, but not at this stage, not at this level, if you like. You know, for all that, you know, the competition is that anybody can enter these. And I think that's the beauty of seeing somebody like Morto now in this spot. Anybody at home can do it. Me and you. Although I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if we're allowed in the sense that
it's not fair on everyone else if we were to enter.
Kind of like employed by the Premier League to help out here. So maybe we can't. But besides the point, anybody here who's watching, any of you guys at home watching, of course, on the stream, Liverpool fans, you want to represent Liverpool. Look at what Morto has done to get to this point. And here we go. Tekkz will be in the orange kit from left to right. And it will be Morto from right to left in the turquoise, as we did determine her.
Seafoam, turquoise, whatever you want to call it. These opening 15 or so in-game minutes for Morto are absolutely crucial. You have to weather the storm. That's a really nice tackle early on Tekkz. They said they matched up before and it was a tricky game as described by Tekkz in the interview we heard from him from about an hour ago now. So this one should be a really fun one. I still feel these opening moments could be huge for Morto, just to show Tekkz that he can deal with his attack and he's going to have to bring something special to be crowned the 3-time champion.
I like what I'm seeing from Morto. It's aggressive, it's quick. Let's see if he can continue this one himself. You know, Tekkz will play methodical, but when he gets in that final third, it becomes unpredictable, dangerous. Cruyff now trying to break through, just trying to wriggle away. James will get in the way of that one. It was a snapshot, maybe not expected, and an opportunity now for Morto to counter-attack. A couple of different names on your screens now. Garincha, Fernando Torres, technically Premier League, I suppose, in his time gone by. Of course, his time at Liverpool is where he was really his deadliest. But Bergwijn now looking for the pass inside towards Torres. And what sort of moment would that be for Fernando Torres to score a goal? To maybe seal it as someone to represent Liverpool here. Ball played in. Tekkz will defend it. Cancelo should get this one away.
Trading early blows, these two. Tekkz again just happy to steady the possession down in his own third. just waiting for him to move up the gears, and as these two legs progress. Tekkz, we know all about him, and if you don't, then where have you been? Last 2 years he's been the champion for this football club. He wants to make it through.
It's a good ball inside R9. Cruyff, this usually ends in a goal. What a save by Pope. Which way is this one going to go? He will survive that one. Moto with a puff out of the cheeks, and that's the first real threat that Tekkz is offered. There's a clean-cut chance there, though, Harry. Very much a big one, and he may find another one here. Rashford now. Heel to heel, can't find the pass inside, but if you're Tekkz, you may be able to create something out of nothing. James will just about clear this one back to Pope. A dangerous moment, nervy moments for both players here.
Yeah, you've got to be a bit more authoritative on the ball, because we know Tekkz likes to pounce on those 50-50s, and he almost did there, but it's good signs for both players so far.
It's a very pressurised game from Moto. Torres, fake drag back to Jones. Winchester can't get away. Still a very solid squad on the side of Moto. But Tekkz, I mean, I think, you know, if I was to pick any squad out of this one, I think I'd prefer Cruyff and R9 up front than Garrincha and Fernando Torres.
Oh yeah, I mean, you only have 2 icons to choose from.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, still pretty good, but out of the 2 icons, those are 2 from the very top drawer.
Dharma can't quite get anything going, but the referee had played advantage. Now Tekkz will have an opportunity to craft something here. Short, non-surprisingly. Rashford, it's the back heel to Cruyff. Takes his time, Rashford is there, but it is fed in to the middle, not quite able to be found by anybody in the end, really. It's a loose pass.
I think it was Zaha that had the best chance to maybe stick it home there for Tekkz, but yeah, tricky.
Oh, is that ball through to Garrincha on side? Well, if it had been, it was the crossbar anyway.
Had me fooled.
So yeah, head was in your hands there, Harry.
I think my hands were on my head, actually.
Yeah, same thing. Kinda.
Sort of.
R9 now. Out to Rashford, the run is good, but couldn't quite predict the movement, Tekkz. Manders will lose the ball there as well, but it will be a foul. Maybe nudge it at the back. There's 2 stressed figures on the right-hand side of the screen. James now out to Cancelo. Tekkz, he can't get anything going. Just couldn't find the pass, looking for the tactical foul, if you like, but Moto will go back. Play this one as best as he can. Tierney now forward, couldn't find anything walking. Moto seems very direct in his play. And Tekkz is maybe starting to read it a little bit, but now Zaha down this right-hand side. Someone who isn't readable at all is Tekkz, of course. Rashford can't find anything though, and now Rashford will get it away for Moto. The cricketer cancelled. This boy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we can see why Tekkz, in the pre-match interview after both of these 2 qualified for this final, said that this isn't going to be an easy game. This is going to be a tricky opponent for me to deal with. We're seeing why. Like you said, I feel like it is very direct, and look at this through ball.
Oh, Garrincha's going to get there before Pope, and can the defender get there? Pope maybe just put him off just a little bit. Oh my, how on earth is that not one in? A huge opportunity for Moto to take the lead here. But the strength of Adama Traore is in the end what stops it from going in.
That's the closest we've come to an opening goal in the Xbox final.
Tekkz now getting away, can't find the pass inside, but he has survived a very scary moment there. I think he will know that. For Moto, does he let that one maybe sit on the brain for a little bit? Does he get a bit concerned over a huge opportunity like that against a huge name like Tekkz? Will they come again? Tekkz was looking to craft an opportunity of his own. He will not get another in this half. It'll be 0-0. Heading in to the second half. It's a sweaty game. It's a very sweaty game.
I tell you what, no shots for Moto officially, but I think he had the best chance of the whole half.
100%.
That's going to give him confidence. Don't let that duck in the stats sheet there put you off, or don't let it tell the tale of the tape, so to speak. Because honestly think Morto is very unlucky not to be 1-0 up here against Tekkz, and it is Traore's strength, as you said, that is arguably the reason we're not seeing a 1-0 scoreline.
Trying once again get aggressive on the attack. Bergwijn can't find a way through, but we'll recycle this one. And how does Morto deal with this sort of attack where Tekkz has men behind the ball? Every single one of his other ones has been, you know, those quick counter-attacking, forceful, direct plays. Speaking of which, Bruno Fernandes is going to find Rashford down the left-hand side. Looking for the cut in, takes his time. Cruyff now, fake shot across goal, 1-0. Out of absolutely nothing. And it's just a simple fake shot. Cruyff on his left foot, 5-star weak foot, is not missing from there. 1-0 to Tekkz. And that's the first big opportunity he's had. It's the first big opportunity he's taken.
Not just that, but also really nice through ball from Bruno Fernandes, played by Tekkz. Great vision. A long through ball. He found the runner. Cruyff did the rest.
Of course, we are watching from Tekkz's point of view. The camera, I believe it's Co-op we're playing on, and it's just such a wide lens. It's what a lot of players play on, just to give you that extra vision, and that vision has helped Rashford being found, I should say, and can't quite convert anything there. The angle was acute. And this time around, Morto will survive, but it just feels as if Tekkz is growing into the game a little bit more as time goes on. But Morto with an attack here, Bergwijn kicking this one up. He will get past Cancelo. Reece James leaves it for Pope, and it was questionable, but he gets away with it.
Yes, he does. I mean, if Pope isn't paying attention there and isn't able to get that ball, that would have been a very dangerous situation to find yourself in. Of course, only 1-0. That's something to cling to here if you're Morto. Don't let that turn into 2, 3 or 4.
Rashford again seems to be a big outlet. Tekkz down the left-hand side. Taking this time just to compose himself here. Tekkz is Cruyff comes for that short ball. Just waiting for a moment to present itself. Fernandes, directional bridge, will escape on through and will take another corner. Goes for the pass, but Tekkz not able to find it. Once again, it will be shot. Pros very much choosing to go for something that is a little less risky to losing the ball. It looked like Tekkz was going to lose it there himself, but now Rashford edge of the box, scoop, shot inside. Walker will get in the way, but Zaha to Ronaldo, 2-0. Just like that, out of absolutely nothing, Tekkz finds himself an opportunity, and 94, the thick end of 15 million coins of Ronaldo, will not miss opportunities like that. 2-0 to Tekkz.
Off the inside of the post, and it all stemmed from, as you said, not losing possession. That short corner, once he got it into the feet of Rashford, you just knew he was going to find a more clear-cut opportunity. It was Ronaldo, and it was the second. Will we see the floodgates open here from Tekkz, or will we see maybe a response from Morto? He has a free kick here.
70 in-game minutes gone. Tierney now to Alexander-Arnold. And then CDM, by the looks of things. Rashford offside.
Great offside trap played there from Tekkz.
Yeah.
Really crucial. It not only, you know, caught the offside of the player of the attempted pass, but also the pass after that as well. So really good timing on the offside trap.
Oh, that's a good ball through. Feels as if Tekkz is finding a lot of luck down this left-hand side. Ball R9 is not quite there. Reece James will get in the way. Fernandes now on 9. Will fall down under the pressure from Reece James. That's a free kick right on the edge of the box. 74th minute. This is an opportunity. It's not usually a shot taken. This will likely be a pass. R9. Ooh, it's a risky challenge from Reece James, but he gets away with it.
Some real no-nonsense defending. Some stout defending from Morto so far. He's held Tekkz to just 2. There's the attack.
Oh, Dharma just about gets there in front of Rashford. But it's worth bearing in mind that Moto, albeit not against Tekkz, was 5-0 down in the previous game in the semi-final. Found up himself winning 9-5. So I don't know. It still feels like something could happen in this game to potentially swing the tide. But Tekkz has been somewhat dominant, specifically in the second half. Into the final 10 minutes of the first leg. Rashford now skipping by, just using his body with the ball rolls. Oh, it's a perfect opportunity for somebody like Cruyff to convert, but it doesn't quite get there. Zaha, though, keeps it alive here for Tekkz. Back now to Jones. You would have expected that one to find the back of the net. Cruyff now, R9. This just spells danger consistently, but the pass is poor. And all of a sudden, it is going to be just about a survival job now for the side of Moto. Still only 2 goals down, but Tekkz has just been persistent in his pressure in this second half.
It's a very similar chance in the first half, wasn't it, for Cruyff again, that we expected to see find the back of the net. Second now that he has failed to convert. Obviously he was already on the score sheet, I believe, but we expect those types of chances to be finding the back of the net, especially when the man creating them is Tekkz. He's been so clinical in the past, but it's been held to just 2 here, which sets us up perfectly, if there are no more goals, of course, for the second leg still to come.
He's taking his time with the ball here, Tekkz. Rashford now on the left-hand side. Another directional bridge, getting a lot of room down this side. Turns it back, R9. Another shot away here, and surely that could be 3. It may well still be. Cruyff dragged back, looking for a little bit of room to find R9. 3-0, 90th minute. And that may not be the final nail in the coffin, but it could be one of them anyway. That's a big third goal for Tekkz to find, and will lead. Now heading into the second leg with 3-0.
Yeah, you almost are looking for that 3-goal cushion, aren't you? In a game like FIFA. In real world, it's 2-goal cushion. In FIFA, it's 3. And well, Tekkz, after the first leg, has that 3-goal cushion now.
He does. You have to say it's deserved. You definitely felt as if every single attack, it's always down that left-hand side. Rashford just getting away. Tekkz wants to use Rashford. He wants to use that acceleration. And you find in the third chance, yes, okay, it was fortuitous in the way that it found itself in the end. You know, one of the defenders got in front of it, but unfortunately was dispossessed. But it was the way that it was created initially. It's Rashford. He's strong. He's tall. Those ball rolls, you can shield that defender off, and we'll get to see it again. But it has to be said as well, Moto did have opportunities, but ones like that for Tekkz didn't get converted, and it really could be more than 3.
Yeah, it could have, and I'm not sure if that's something that, you know, he has to take into the second leg. And I mean, you called it perfectly. If Traore isn't there, Hassel and Garincha, I think probably we see that be 1-0 to Moto at that point, which obviously would turn the entire tie on its head. I might just bait Tekkz out a little bit, but as soon as he gets that goal from Cruyff, he seemed more in control than he was previously, and especially again, I can't, you know, go on and out about it enough. I mean, a 3-goal cushion for Tekkz going into the second leg of this Xbox final. I mean, put your house down on him at this point. I mean, you don't see him often throw these types of leads away.
That one was a rebound that came back out to Zaha and then lands to R9's feet, and he's always going to score there. Just wise player from Tekkz though. Once again, look at Rashford. It was that was the moment, sorry, where the ball rolls came through, and that was another goal that, I mean, you'd very much expect that to hit the back of the net, wouldn't you? But the pressure continued. It was Cruyff to R9, and just that little shimmy away. The problem is when you got R9, when you got Cruyff, you don't know which way they're going to go. Both 5-star weak foot, both 5-star skills.
Yeah.
It's so hard to read that you can't just push them onto one side. It sometimes feels like even the 4-star weak foot on this game specifically isn't necessarily as weak either. You know, a lot of players can still put it away with either peg, but Ronaldo and Cruyff, two of the most dangerous at that.
Yeah, and when you have one of the most dangerous players controlling them in Tekkz, like you said, you don't know which way he's going to go in any given situation. When you combine that with the skill move cancels that have been, you know, introduced into the game, it's like, what do you do? It's like you're just handing Tekkz a superpower, and he's exhibiting it. Not so much as I would have expected in that first leg, but I expect to see it very much here in the second leg. Some of those classy skill moves, those classy goals. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, obviously he was able to fashion that third goal thanks to some tremendous footwork, but I want to see him turn on the spice here in this second leg.
Fully affirm himself as somebody who is to watch in those finals. Of course, he still has to get there. It's only a 3-0 lead, but it's one that you wouldn't expect him to throw away, and it sort of takes us into the conversation of the other side of his game, his defensive game. For all that we've seen, good, solid, direct play coming out from Moto, of course, it felt like Tekkz got a read on him, didn't he, a little bit? Initially, it was fast, it was quick, it was direct from Moto, but as soon as Tekkz started realizing what he was doing, those passing lanes started to get cut a little bit more, and it just became more and more difficult for him to attack.
Yeah, even the decisions that he was making, when you consider, again, that Garrincha chance, right? Even if Traore isn't able to muscle him off the ball, there were still players off, you know, on the line. I think I counted 2 or 3 defenders there ready to potentially get a block away. So it's still a tricky kind of situation for Garrincha there. And it's all about those reads, you know, bringing your goalkeeper out, knowing that your back line is, you know, gonna go back and cover the line. I mean, this is something that Tekkz has done time and time again. I think of the amount of FIFA this man has played across the years. He knows exactly what's going to happen almost ahead of time. So, yeah, it's impressive defending. And to come out of that first leg against a guy who scored in the semi-final 9 goals, to come out with a clean sheet is... I mean, we should be maybe talking about that a little bit more, because, like you said, he seemed to have the read on his opponent more often than not, did Tekkz. And poor Morto, I feel at this point, it's almost like you're being handed a poison chalice. You now have to play a second leg against a guy who is renowned for turning on the sauce and turning on the spice at a 3-goal deficit. It's a tricky situation to find yourself in.
You find yourself in the position to be counter-attacked quite a lot. I can imagine we're going to see a much more aggressive game out of Moto. He's going to have to send men forward.
He has to.
Initially, I think, you know, off the bat, do it. See if you can get that early goal, and then maybe, you know, if you do find that early goal, you can maybe revert to what you were doing, because, you know, he had a goal in him there. It feels like he definitely had a goal in him. So if we can find that one with a bit of early pressure and then maybe do something from there, then that's potentially something you can work on.
Yeah, we'll see how he approaches it. And again, it comes down to these high pressure situations. Obviously, we are still waiting for the 2 players to get into the lobby and get the game going. So don't worry, we're not waffling for the sake of waffling. We don't just like the sound of our own voices, but I mean, you might, but I don't. It's about if you change the tactics after what happened in the first leg. Do you maybe, you know, switch something up formation wise? Do you maybe do some specific instructions for certain players? You know, it's all about what's going through each of these players' heads. You know, what kind of changes they can make, you know, tactically to maybe give them the slight edge in the second leg. I'm trying to think of specific instructions that I would maybe give Morto as advice, and I can't really think of any specific. You just, like you said, maybe need to throw a few more bodies forward and try and steal that goal early on.
Maybe change it up with the formation, maybe 3 at the back or something. You know, maybe get those players wide a little bit more, overload the balls on one direction of things. Yeah. Maybe a 5 at the back, but an attacking sense is something that you can maybe lean in towards. It's an interesting prospect, but not a one I would like to be in the position of, to be honest with you. If I'm Moto, it's not an ideal spot to be in. So let's see if he can bring something back. I do believe we will be starting this game very, very shortly. Hopefully we'll be jumping in as soon as we want to see the conclusion of this game. Of course, Tekkz looking so good, and I do believe we are nearly ready to load in, because I'm very, very sure you're sick of looking at lockdown haircuts, which are in full flow at the minute.
Don't get me started.
Oh my goodness.
Do not get me started.
We've still got another 40 days yet.
I know. I tried doing mine myself, which is why I look like a...
Like, Pete's looks fine. Me. Pete's looks fine.
Yeah,
ours doesn't, though. Hey, who's done yours? Is your missus...
Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel.
It's got a bit ginger.
It doesn't look ginger, Rachel, honestly, I promise.
It's great to be back here, though, for a 3rd year in a row. Honestly,
of course.
You know, it's always such a fun time coming to Liverpool. It's such a great city, but such a prestigious competition for this club as well. You can see how much it means to Tekkz whenever he's playing, and it's like Rachel touched upon, I mean, earlier on in the show, but also before this is the big one for Tekkz. You know, he loves Liverpool with all of his heart, so this is the one he will always make time for, always make the preparations for, and well, he has a chance for a fourth and potentially for the dagger here in the second leg.
Jones aside now to Fernandez. R9 is lingering with a lot of room. Cruyff. It's a good job. Virgil got in the way. And Liverpool love to see him in their box on the defensive side of things at the moment. Corner to be taken now. Short once again. Cruyff will look for the pass on towards the edge, you would imagine, or will he just turn it back round? He will, well, seemingly look like he fouled Cruyff there, but in the end, we'll get away with it. Well, the Scotsman, and Torres will get this one away. Headed ball down the line. Now Torres. Inside Alexander Arnold. It seemed like just a strong tackle in the end from Walker, and Jones will calmly deal with this one for Tekkz.
If you're looking for the ebb and the flow of a storyline, we really need to see the first goal in this second leg to go Morto's way, to even have a glimmer at the end of the tunnel, because it's, as we said before, Tekkz doesn't tend to throw away 3-0 leads that often, purely based on how well he can keep the ball when he needs to, and even when he doesn't need to. So first goal here, crucial for Morto.
Oh, and it may well be coming towards Tekkz, not quite. Will rebound out to Zaha. It was a really good opportunity for R9. Bruno Fernandes looking for that pass forward that he will usually find. It's going to be Jones to find it though, and Reece James will get in the way. 2 forward immediately here for Morto, but has to pass that one backwards just a little bit. Alexander Arnold now starting in this game. Can't get it forward. Adama, if you choose to do that SBC, or that Adama try or freeze card, then you got a left back until team of the season. If you're an idiot like me and you didn't do it, well, that's it, you're an idiot, unfortunately. Bruno Fernandes now, full to Rashford. Cruyff here for Tekkz, feels like that fourth goal may well be coming. Alexander Arnold will get in the way though, and I do wonder if that's the team of the year on there for Morto. Can he be the one to inspire? Hell of a comeback here. It's a good ball out now to Bergwijn. Future Stars player now getting something going. Torres doesn't quite have the silky movement of a Cruyff, but very much has the strength to hold off a defender if he can get through one-on-one. Rashford now. Oh, it's the back heel to Torres. Can't quite find it. And Morto, a glimmer of a chance there.
Yeah, the longer this game goes on, though, the more I'm being impressed by Tekkz's defensive work rate, actually, not only covering and cutting the passing lanes, but also the way he times his offside traps. It makes you have to rethink your whole attack, because suddenly the players that you want to pass to that made their runs, they are ineligible to receive a pass, so all of a sudden you have to think about where the pass is going next. Something Tekkz does so well, just to confuse his opponents. A bit of a misstep from him there, though.
It was a good cancel, actually, on the side of Morto, who is maybe getting a little bit more animated on the bottom right corner, and Garincha can't find the pass. And Morto, with a slight smile, knows he maybe rushed that one a little bit. Adama now stretching his legs forward. Rashford to R9, and just the build of an attack, the foundations of an attack coming through here for Tekkz.
It's like you said, it's just that ripple that turns into a tidal wave eventually. It's where he has the ball just outside the centre circle, is where he's already doing those calculations in his head. Whose man do I need to beat? Whose run do I need to find to unlock the door here? He's just inching forward with these passes, so patient.
It has been patient this time from R9 from distance. Nick Pope will get in the way. I wonder if there was some keeper movement to help Morto out. Tekkz to take his time with this corner once again. Stretches the legs, and Cruyff now waiting for the moment to come. Just needs to take his time. Doesn't need to rush anything, and that's a foul. A lunge in, and Morto becoming more and more frustrated as time goes on. Tekkz with a free kick at a dangerous spot here. Fernandes will be the one to take it. I wonder if he just whips this in. I'd imagine it will be short. Yes, it will. Back to João Cancelo. I think Tekkz probably meant that more so for Reece James in the middle, but another chance to build an attack here.
Yeah, and it also draws the defence out a little bit from Morto, stopping playing as deep as he might like to, but potential for a break. Too many bodies though for Tekkz, and we're approaching half-time, and yes, it's 0-0, but ultimately the clock is in Tekkz's favour, and we need to see big things coming out of Morto here really soon. Otherwise, it's going to be the back-to-back-to-back Xbox champion for Liverpool.
Ball to Rashford. Oh, it's so well played. He just couldn't find the last little touch. I forget the name of that skill move specifically. It was one that a lot of people used at the beginning. It's a fake Cruyff turn, so to speak, isn't it? It's a strange one. It's one that causes problems. It isn't brought out very often. Jones now forward. Bergwijn will pass this one back to Pope. And that should be the end of the first half here, but Tekkz has held on strong. And really for Morto, he hasn't been able to get anything going, but all of a sudden Fernando Torres is through only momentarily, and Reece James will get there. Pope will clear it away, and that will be the end of the half.
Yeah, you could argue maybe that is a display of the difference in firepower between the two. We see Tekkz come forward. I mean, look, he's got R9 and Cruyff to choose from. On the other side, just Fernando Torres maybe lacking a bit of that offensive spark that you expect, that explosiveness. Tekkz offensively, take nothing away. I mean, he's yet to concede a goal so far in this grand finals of the Xbox console. And he's done so immaculately. Just pay attention when Morto's trying to make his attacks happen, just on the defensive work rate of Tekkz, where he's jockeying his players to cut those passing lanes, and again timing those offside traps. It's really impressive to watch. Even though your eyes might be drawn to the ball, Tekkz is doing some impressive things off it.
Garma down the wing. Just take his time. Well, taking his time, will not allow him to find the pass. And here we go. Morto needs to start making these attacks into something, and Adama will just walk away with the ball once again. What I like about Tekkz's game is that sometimes he'll just walk with the play. He'll take his time, he'll wait for the defender to come, and then he'll make the move. And this time round, he's just happy to keep the ball. Once again, defender comes in, makes the step. Cruyff now to R9. There's less midfielders to worry about. Cruyff again, turns it inside. Oh, back to Rashford. It was a well-worked move, but can't quite find his way through. Morto now with a potential 1-2 opportunity here for Torres. The touch isn't there though. For all a Liverpool legend, maybe in FIFA sometimes he's a little bit big. He's not quite as silky as somebody like a Cruyff or something like that. It doesn't necessarily favour itself to the FIFA meta.
Certainly not. Certainly when you consider again those weapons that Tekkz has up front, so agile. That front three of Rashford. Of course, his other weapons that he has as well, where he's just looking for the killer pass to either Cruyff or to R9. Just seems leagues apart right now. And again, playing devil's advocate, I would have loved to have seen this on the unlocked accounts, where maybe some of the ultimate team factors weren't being taken into account. Of course, you have to use your own teams here. There's no unlocked accounts. Maybe we could be seeing a much closer affair, but right now Tekkz is running away with it.
It's a good play though by Morto, and I don't know if that was exactly what he wanted to do there. Centre-back pairing of Walker and Reece James will keep an eye on those balls that do find their way into the box. Rashford now. 63 minutes gone. I was about to say, it's getting in that territory where you need to see something from Morto, but that territory we've been there for quite some time now.
Yeah, we have, and this is again just that discipline coming in from Tekkz, just showing his maturity, and if anything, it validates just how much this means to him to represent Liverpool. I mean, to play like this at 3-0 in the grand finals, you could maybe be tempted to go for more goals, go for some flashy goals, but he's keeping the ball here, and more importantly, until recently, he's been keeping it out of Morto's possession, which means there's no way he can find any of those 3 goals back.
Yeah, Moto needs to full send now. Kitchen sink, fridge, dishwasher, a lot. Garrincha now to Torres. Could he be the man to inspire? Well, he finds Garrincha, who can only find the whites of the post. And Mono is devastated by that one. Free kick to be taken. That's as close as Moto has, well, really come. And the second leg. Pass off now to Alexander-Arnold. Hits it out to Rashford. Expect better from the Englishman. Tekkz will get the ball back. 20 in-game minutes until he is once again representing Liverpool on the EPL stage.
2 games, 2 really big chances for Garrincha. Poor Morto just could not find the back of the net either time. It could be 3-2 if you think about that chance he had in the first leg. And that one just saw obviously glancing off the post. Could easily be 3-2, but Tekkz is hanging on.
Garrincha, yeah, trying the directional bridge through Adama's legs. Spaniard will just get it away down this left-hand side. We need everything and more from Moto now to have a game on our hands. Torres, Elsu Fake, Rashford and Jones waiting for the runs. Finds it out wide to Garrincha. Maybe trying to imitate what Tekkz was doing before. It's that ball roll, scoop turn. The short corner going to come out here now from Moto, who we just need to see a goal right now. Oh, we're going to get one as well. It's a hell of a header. And that's from Virgil van Dijk. Maybe game on.
Keep ball territory for Tekkz. A very, very delicate situation indeed. 10 in-game minutes remaining. That's plenty of time for 2 more goals. He's giving it away again.
If we see a second from Moto here, who knows? Bergwijn sending men forward now and trying to get something going. The pressure is there, but when the pressure is there, you leave yourself open to counter-attacks, but the pressure's coming in the midfield here from Moto. Team press is firmly on. Garrincha now. Can't quite get it through. Tekkz defending this one well. It may well go out, though, and will now be a throw-in to Tekkz, who has time to recuperate. Has time to get this one away, and Rashford will just stretch his legs. And see the mini celebration from Tekkz in the right corner now as he gets this one forward. He knows how much time he can waste with this opportunity. Just playing Moto like a little fiddle there now and can't quite break through, though. Alexander-Arnold will get this one away. And it's Jones now to Tierney. This one will be played away. Bergwijn has made the run. Torres has runners ahead of him as well. Rashford. Not left in the gas tank as we head into the 89th minute. This just has to result in a goal here for Moto, but he has to go back. Tekkz is celebrating, Tekkz is feeling, and again that offside trap is there. That might do it. That might do it. Walker on the ball, back to Pope. Not very often do we see dominance in one competition from someone in such a way, but Tekkz, not once, not twice, but 3 times the representative for Liverpool FC on the Xbox side in EPL. He's your champion once again here in Liverpool, and Lightning strikes 3 times. What a performance from Tekkz, and Moto applauds that. What a fantastic performance from him, and very well deserved the winner here once again.
And just to again reiterate how important this competition is for Tekkz.
Yeah.
We saw him at the end, 2 goals up. Did you see him lean into his screen to make sure he was defending as concentrated as he could? He knew that if Moto gets a second goal back, there's always a chance, because that's just how fickle FIFA can be sometimes. But he didn't want to let anything slip. He wants to represent Liverpool all the time. It's so deeply engraved in his heart at this point, and he's won the contract. A 3rd year in a row he gets to represent his favourite club.
Commiserations to Moto. You know what, I'll say this from a personal, from a FIFA player point of view, he played nice FIFA. I liked the way he played. It was nice to see a fresh getting forward. And sometimes, you know, this building play, you know, you see pros like Tekkz, and look, the way that Tekkz attacks is phenomenal, but sometimes they won't take the chance. They want that perfect pass, whereas Morto was sometimes like taking these risks.
I mean, listen, man, this chance from Garincha and combined with the chance from the first leg from the same player, I mean, he got a goal back from the corner from Van Dijk. If those two from Garincha go in, I know that's a lot of what-ifs, but we're looking at a 3-3 game on aggregate. That could have very easily gone to golden goal. Then from then on, who knows? But
Potentially.
it's just the mark of a champion, you know. He's able to survive, hang on, whether it's by the post, whether it's through tremendous defending. And I think that final offside trap, like you said, the offside trap again, he was doing that all game. He was doing that. The timing was on point, and a thoroughly deserved winner again.
Yeah, what a performance. We have both of our players now for Liverpool Football Club, but once again, as said 3 times in a row, it's going to be Tekkz on the Xbox side. I mean, Pete, did we expect anything else? I don't know, that last goal, I was a bit...
Yeah, and just as you explained it there, boys, the fine margins, aren't they, at this stage of the game in finals, and I think we'll be seeing a bit more of Morto in the next coming years. As Tekkz, in fairness, pointed out before the game, it's not going to be a gimme, it's going to be tough, and there were a few fairly crucial moments in that game that went against him, I guess.
Well, it was the fact that he actually didn't score a goal in the second leg. 3-0, and that's how many goals it stayed for him. It obviously ended 3-1. Great game. He's behind us now, Pete. There he is, Tekkz, our Xbox champion.
You look pretty chilled now, Tekkz. I'm not sure whether that is a reflection as to how you feel, because, as we mentioned there, he gave you a hell of a game tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, no, I knew it was going to be a difficult game. He's really, really good, and attacking, he moves the ball quickly. He's hard to guard. So I just thought to myself, I'll give him the ball as least as possible, and I can win. It's not about I won boringly today. When they actually, and that's what I did. So yeah, I'm quite happy with myself.
Yeah, I mean, Tekkz, we know how much being a Liverpool FIFA representative means to you, but just sum up on your priority list where it does actually rank.
Quite highly. Winning the ePremier League, it's a tournament which has like the most eyes on it. Like Foot Champs Cups, like they got a lot of eyes on them. But it's like the same audience. The ePremier League's like a new audience of people who haven't really watched FIFA before. So I really like doing well in it because it's people that don't know who you are and they get to know you. So ePremier League, like it's probably up there, like my top 2, top 3, maybe best. I don't know. But now I'm just happy. I'm happy.
Winning the first one is difficult. Winning the second one becomes even more difficult. To do it 3 times, though, how much pride does that give you tonight?
Nah, a lot, because it's really easy to like slip up playing someone, playing anyone, to be honest. It's not like an actual 2-legged game of FIFA is really hard because in knockouts, like if you go 2-0 down, it could be over. You never know how the other person's going to play. So now winning 3 times is actually really hard, but I'm hoping I can win the actual ePremier League now because I won the first one and then last year I lost in the final. So this year I'm coming back. I'm winning it.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool, I'm sure, would love you to do that for the club again. Tekkz, I have another question as well. I know you've played Trent Alexander-Arnold on FIFA. If you could pick any current Liverpool player to go up against on FIFA, who would you pick?
Yago Jota. That guy, he's actually really good at FIFA. He plays with like top 100 and Foot Champs and stuff. And we spoke a couple of times in the DMs and we say we're going to play, but we never do. I don't know if it's him avoiding it or me avoiding it. But nah, Yago Jota, we've got to get that game going.
We might be able to box that one off for you over the next few months. Now you're a champion and now you remain with our Liverpool team again. Just in terms of where you go from here, I know you spoke before about wanting to go to the grand final and win that as well now. How difficult has this period been for you, or has it made things a little bit more straightforward, the fact that you get more time at home to practice and that kind of things, or do you want to be back out there like everybody else as soon as you can be?
I don't enjoy the online competing aspect. I love going places and competing. It just makes it feel a lot more real, and I don't know the word, but like it's genuine. Like it's so much better just to travel, play because you're in like a competitive environment. But when you play at home and like I've got a lot of time to practice, I don't really like sitting at home playing FIFA because I've played and like have had the highest of the highs at like events. When I come home, it's like, oh, I don't want to be. I want to be at an event. So it's a lot harder for me to do well at home than it is to do well at like an actual event.
You're a big game player, Tekkz, and also actually Pete and I were saying we miss having your mum here at the competitions as well.
Yeah, we always
we
have a
like
chat to
seeing
your mum.
Mama Tekkz when she's around, so shout out to her as well. But Tekkz, this is yours. Right here, this trophy. We will get
Thank you.
it sent to you as soon as we can.
I got 2.
Oh, she's there.
I'm gonna go and get his mum.
Mama Tekkz is there, I think, possibly. Oh no,
no,
he's got
she don't like being on camera,
one
but
from
I got
last time.
Yeah, I got my ePremier League there as well.
He's got a trophy. There we go. Is it? There we go.
They took a chance just in case.
We'll send you another one anyway, Tekkz.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
I'm sure the mantelpiece is getting bigger and bigger as every year passes. We hope it's a big one to come for you, Tekkz, as well. We hope it's the ePremier League next. But really enjoyed that tonight, and congratulations to you, mate, for doing it all over again.
There we go. He was pretty excited with that one, wasn't he? I love that he's already got a trophy. It wasn't the one here. It was the one from last year, FYI. We didn't think he was going to win.
We did no job.
He had to actually go through the procedure like everyone else did. But yeah, that's it, Pete. We have our 2 Liverpool representatives on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Sting Racing for PS4 and Tekkz for the Xbox. Great tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. The legacy continues. Massive thanks to Chris and Harry for their commentary skills throughout as well. They certainly described it well through all the dramatic action that we saw. Great to see you again, Rachel, as well in person in this world that we live in at the moment, to be remote. And a biggest thank you as ever to you at home for watching. We'll see you again, same time, same place, hopefully Anfield next year. Bye-bye.